In the icy darkness, the red crystal glowed like a fierce heartbeat. Xiaoqi's eyes widened in panic, her body rigid with fear. The flame consumed the medicinal crystal, making the space dazzlingly radiant. The light from the gem, bearing an evil mark, spread through the gloomy space. Hideous creatures stalked closer, their eyes filled with predatory desire. A monster lunged like lightning, without hesitation. A beast pierced through her, leaving shock and dizziness. Red blood spurted from her mouth, pain tormenting her body to the extreme. She collapsed on the cold stone ground, surrounded by ferocious beasts. Xiaoqi, dying, her eyes vacant, heart filled with regret, called his name. Wu Lu's image appeared like sunlight, his gentle promise echoing. Suddenly, a blood-soaked monster's maw poised to devour her. In despair, she thought she would break her promise to him. In a splendid city, Wu Lu leisurely left a shop, carrying a bag. A sudden call from behind made Wu Lu pause. He turned, seeing Qinzi smiling, asking about Xiaoqi's return. Wu Lu replied cheerfully. Qinzi continued, inquiring about Wu Lu's health and plans, receiving his gentle concern in return. Qinzi said goodbye, promising to visit later. Wu Lu smiled, agreeing. As Wu Lu walked away, someone complained about their miserable life compared to his. Qinzi retorted, mentioning Xiaoqi's harsh past and Wu Lu's sacrifices. A vivid memory surfaced. Wu Lu once gave food to a starving, wandering girl. The person, though listening, remained resentful, claiming Wu Lu lived off his sister. Under golden dusk, the small apartment where the siblings lived appeared warm. Wu Lu set the bag on the table, sighing tiredly after a long journey. Checking the clock, he realized it was late for cooking and hurriedly began preparing. With practiced movements, he chopped ingredients, methodically preparing dinner. A bountiful meal was soon neatly arranged. Looking appetizing, Wu Lu smiled, satisfied, but unease flickered within. He glanced at his phone. 7:20 p.m. Late again, huh? He murmured, gazing at the city night through the window, then slumped over the cold dining table. Suddenly, the phone buzzed repeatedly. Startled, he answered reflexively. A calm voice from the Adventurers Association asked to confirm Xiaoqi's kin, alias Radiant Light. Wu Lu replied, voice steady but heart-pounding. They reported she died in an S-Rank dungeon, confirmed dead 2 hours ago. Wu Lu reeled as if struck by heaven. In the silent night, his anguished scream tore through the air. A plate fell, shattering on the floor, its cold sound echoing through the room. The mechanical voice demanded secrecy for security reasons, promising aid within a month. The call ended, Wu Lu froze, hands dropping the phone, trembling lips calling his sister's name. Memories flooded back. Xiaoqi, smiling brightly, tugging his sleeve, asking if she could call him Big Brother. Wu Lu responded with a gentle smile, that memory like shimmering sunlight in the past. Another time, seeing her injured, he asked why. She simply said someone dared to badmouth him. She once boldly promised to return soon. She hugged him, playfully insisting he prepare delicious food for her return. Wu Lu gently urged her to stay safe. Yet, a discrepancy arose. She mentioned only an A-rank dungeon, but the call spoke of S-rank. S-rank dungeon incidents were always thoroughly investigated, especially those tied to the Seven Stars organization. Yet this time, her death was reported directly in mere hours. Wu Lu bowed his head, teary eyes dim in the faint light through the window. That light reflected on a photo of the siblings together. 5 days later, at the Adventurers Association building, Wu Lu appeared at the reception room. A cold man asked his purpose for coming. Stern-faced, he stated, "If it's about Radiant Light, we've already notified you." He was Lin Feng, the Clear Sky branch leader. Wu Lu met Lin Feng's eyes, firmly requesting to register as an adventurer. Lin Feng paused, his eyes briefly stunned. Rubbing his forehead wearily, he said calmly, "This path is dangerous. And you have no abilities. Wu Lu remained silent. Gaze steady. Lin Feng sighed softly, noting that by law, an adventurer's family could join despite lacking skills. Hearing this, Wu Lu confirmed immediately, his calm demeanor surprising Lin Feng, who nodded approval reluctantly. Turning to order the secretary to process the application, she responded seriously. Wu Lu, slightly surprised, showed determination in his eyes, nodding thanks. Before leaving, Lin Feng gently advised that the place was always open if he needed anything. Wu Lu turned, nodding slightly in acknowledgement. Then, the door slammed shut with a heavy echo. Lin Feng watched him, a vague unease rising. At the registration desk, staff handed Wu Lu an ID card. He quietly thanked them, eyes scanning the details. Name, male, no abilities, unranked. He gripped the card tightly. A burning resolve smoldering within. A memory surfaced. After Xiaoqi's team escaped a dungeon using a special item, EO Room conducted high-tech scans. Wu Lu angrily insisted she only mentioned an A-rank dungeon. The other frowned, puzzled, saying they were sent to an S-rank dungeon, once sealed. Perhaps she hid the truth to spare him worry. Wu Lu froze, heart constricted as if choked. He carefully tucked the card into his coat, silently vowing this was no glorious sacrifice. Pulling up his hood, concealing his face, he walked off, eyes cold as steel, determined to uncover the truth. Meanwhile, at another area, before an A-rank dungeon entrance, an adventuring team gathered at the starting point. A blond man declared he'd take the front line. A teammate teased he'd cry at the sight of monsters, though jests continued, suggesting the rear was safer. Wu Lu stood aside, silently observing the lively exchange. Then the team entered the dungeon, leaving Wu Lu's support group waiting outside. Blonde Shu began recounting with a seasoned tone. 3 decades since dungeons appeared, he'd worked over 10 years but never grew accustomed. Another chimed in calmly, hinting it wasn't easy to adapt. A timid newcomer asked if they should keep waiting. Blonde Shu, recognizing a rookie, learned he'd just joined logistics. Another explained they'd wait until the gatekeeper beast was slain before entering. Blonde Shu curtly interrupted, saying no need for long explanations. They'd understand inside. Purple Hair advised the newbie not to mind Shu's usual brusqueness. Then, Blonde Shu noticed Wu Lu, asking bluntly, "New face just arrived?" Wu Lu confirmed briefly. Blonde Shu, surprised, asked again with astonishment. Purple Hair softly instructed Wu Lu to follow them and act as others did, avoiding recklessness. Suddenly, a deafening roar interrupted, startling everyone toward its source. The eerie cry echoed. A green-hatted man panicked, asking if they should enter, but Blonde Zhu shouted entering meant death. Glasses explained no basic training occurred this year due to association anomalies. The explanation silenced everyone with worry. A sarcastic voice criticized incompetence. Wu Lu stayed calm, realizing he hadn't missed training. It never happened, while the two kept arguing. Normally, only D-rank or higher combat adventurers could face beasts. Logistics, civilians, or E-ranks like them were mere temporary laborers. If anyone wanted to contribute, a sharp yell cut through. "Hey, you lot, get over here!" Blonde Shu frowned, urging haste. Elsewhere, purple smoke billowed from a slain beast's corpse. The stench of death made the group, men and women, feel nauseous. After a while, the beast's body dissolved into a foul, slimy liquid. A man in green couldn't bear it, doubling over to vomit. A spiky-haired man, face red with rage, shouted curses, but a strong hand gripped his shoulder, halting his impulsiveness. A platinum-haired woman, hair neatly tied, gently reminded him the other was new and to stay calm. She turned to Blonde Shu's group, sternly urging experienced members to stay level-headed and work responsibly. Finishing, she slapped the timid man's shoulder, ordering work to begin. He grumbled about unfair blame, while Wu Lu, standing aside, coldly judged the act as an insult to the departed. Spiky Hair loudly protested it was his first time facing such a situation, not intentional. Wu Lu's gaze remained icy. Someone behind curiously asked how Wu Lu knew so much as a newcomer. He calmly said he'd heard stories. Then he fell silent, eyes sinking into memories. In his mind, Xiao Qi appeared, her face sorrowful. She recounted a rookie's death the previous day, worrying Wu Lu. She explained it was during training, but an arrogant fool got ambushed. The supporter vomited at the corpse, and the dead's friend, enraged, killed the culprit. Despite trying, she couldn't stop the tragedy. Wu Lu was furious at the murder, but Xiao Qi only shook her head helplessly, saying combat teams often disdained support groups. Blonde Shu's voice snapped Wu Lu back, urging the rookie not to dawdle. The called man reacted, pointing to the uncleared corpse pile. Blonde Shu lifted a bucket, joking that he didn't expect Wu Lu to be a true rookie, given his earlier calm. Wu Lu didn't reply, eyes heavy with thought, inwardly annoyed at the bothersome uncle. A loud voice explained that to clear a dungeon, the core, that thing, must be destroyed. However, to reach the core, the guardian monster must be slain first. They begin decomposing 30 minutes after death. But for core guardians, time starts only when the core is destroyed. Blonde Shu, pushing a cart, said monster corpses held no value. A curious rookie asked why. Glasses answered promptly that corpses can't be removed from dungeons, so no one needs them. He continued, explaining that defeating guardians could yield weapons or equipment. In some cases, skill books could be obtained. Sometimes, even rare items could be found. Blonde Zhu and the other concluded. For reward details, ask the Slayer. As the dungeon closes 30 minutes after the core's destruction, let's go. A light circle opened. The bespectacled man bid farewell, ordered withdrawal, and promised payment in days. He gently warned that support roles don't guarantee safety. Self-defense skills are essential. Sternly, he stressed speed as critical for survival. While the rookie glumly complained the job wasn't as expected, the young rookie and Wu Lu stood silently, watching the two leave without a word. Wu Lu clenched his fist, silently vowing to improve his strength. 2 days later, a voice jolted Wu Lu back, asking about his dungeon experience. Wu Lu replied coldly, briefly. Lin Feng smiled awkwardly, hinting at treasure's value. Wu Lu softly said, nothing was worth dying for. Lin Feng stared, a flicker of worry crossing his face. He muttered, noting Wu Lu's resemblance to his sister. Lin Feng continued speaking. He voiced suspicion, sensing something odd about Wu Lu. Though aware Wu Lu inherited a large fortune, Lin Feng couldn't grasp his motive. Wu Lu admitted wanting to escape his sister's shadow and rumors. Lin Feng sternly warned the inheritance would soon be exposed, praised Wu Lu's independence, and introduced someone important. Under dim sunlight, a white-haired man appeared with commanding presence, speaking like thunder. He was Charlie Lee's, 37, veteran trainer, visibly annoyed at being summoned. Someone introduced Qi, the trainer assigned to Wu Lu, the branch's strongest despite his gruff appearance. Wu Lu watched, stunned, as Charlie grinned brightly. Qi stepped close, touching his beard, his teasing tone dismissive. Karuto softly noted Wu Lu was Radiant Light's brother, pausing the atmosphere. Hearing this, Qi reluctantly agreed, grumbling and warning it was the last time. Karuto earnestly requested. Qi snapped back, ordering Wu Lu to follow. Facing each other, tension rose as Wu Lu introduced himself, but Qi cut him off harshly, asserting dominance. Despite Qi's surprise, Wu Lu calmly confirmed using special inheritance rights from a high-rank adventurer's title. Qi, skeptical, eyes sharp, questioned if Wu Lu truly understood the privilege's weight. Wu Lu nodded calmly, stating he fully understood. He explained the adventurer ranking system, with 7 as the highest tier. Those in this group enjoyed maximum benefits, even after death, if a successor was pre-designated. A small part of those benefits, self-development opportunities, was least valued. Qi sternly demanded Wu Lu decide, but he didn't grasp the intent. The question made the atmosphere tense and silent. Qi exhaled, explaining 3 basic training forms: attack, defense, and reflexes. He swiftly operated an electronic board, saying Wu Lu needed to see to understand. Without hesitation, he kicked a robot down, demonstrating attack training. Then, he took boxing blows to his body, describing defense methods. Finally, he dodged laser beams, showcasing speed in evasion. Turning, eyes gleaming, he asked Wu Lu which path he'd choose. After brief consideration, Wu Lu firmly chose to focus on defense. The next morning, under clear skies, he began training in a park. Wu Lu, drenched in sweat, pushed through a grueling fitness drill. After struggling, he paused, gasping, exhausted. His face pale, nausea rising, he doubted Qi's training effectiveness. Recalling their talk, Wu Lu remembered Qi praising defense as wise, with a light shoulder pat. But instead of encouragement, it felt like his shoulder nearly detached. Charlie mocked that peers often chose attack or speed for self-defense. His smile vanished, replaced by a chilling remark that all had died. The sharp words and icy glare chilled Wu Lu. The atmosphere grew heavy. Charlie, voice low, said it must have made Wu Lu think. Though free to choose his training path, he had to pour effort into physical improvement. Wu Lu, surprised, asked if Charlie wasn't the trainer. Charlie laughed, mocking his weak stamina. He slapped Wu Lu's back hard, his encouragement like a command, strive harder. Wu Lu slumped to the ground, exhaling, quietly accepting reality. Charlie raised 2 fingers, eyes stern, setting a 2-month deadline. He coldly warned that without meeting standards, even blood ties wouldn't help. As the memory faded, Wu Lu, still dazed, looked pulled from an abyss. Thinking so, he forced himself to run again, refusing to stop. He began grueling training days without slacking. Now, Wu Lu focused at his computer, typing relentlessly. A click opened a classified document. Details of a rare S-rank dungeon creature appeared. Dark wind insect. With wind and water control, its defense was nearly invulnerable. Wu Lu looked up, heart heavy, realizing why his sister always stopped his adventuring. A month later, he appeared at a shop, carrying raw meat. 2 workers whispered, puzzled by Wu Lu's frequent visits to a luxury resort. Ignoring gossip, he lived simply and trained consistently, not just running. He added strength exercises to enhance his physique. After a month, his transformed, muscular body drew stares. Suddenly, someone appeared at the door, surprising Wu Lu. It was Qin Ji. Qin Ji studied him, then laughed, entering without ceremony. Sitting, he teased Wu Lu about his changed physique, nearly unrecognizable. After a brief silence, his eyes shone with undisguised pride. Suddenly, he asked quietly when Xiao Qi would return. Wu Lu calmly said, per the association, she was on a mission with no return date. Noticing Qin Zi's hesitation, Wu Lu invited him to share if needed. Qin Ji spoke directly, saying Wu Lu's recent actions were drawing attention. Still calm, Wu Lu asserted he had nothing to hide with his sister's support. Qin Zi's tone lowered, mentioning an ill rumor about the 7 stars. Wu Lu frowned, urgently asking the source. Qin Ji said it came from a casual talk among high-rank adventurers. Qin Ji shifted, eyes worried, directly asking about Xiao Qi's status. Wu Lu paused, then gently said if something happened to her, he couldn't live so peacefully. The air between them grew awkward and quiet. Qin Ji realized his words were off, forcing a smile. Wu Lu softly reassured him. Qin Ji stood to leave, declining to stay for a meal, and hurriedly departed, leaving Wu Lu alone in the empty house. He quietly opened his contacts, eyes on a missed call. Wu Lu dialed. The other side answered grimly, scolding him for ignoring dozens of calls. He cut to the chase, asking what they knew. The other laughed mockingly, prompting Wu Lu to interrupt angrily. Annoyed at being cut off, they faced Wu Lu's cold warning against nonsense. Under his stern attitude, they admitted, One of the 7 stars died, identity unconfirmed, and the association was covering it up. Wu Lu didn't respond directly, only threatening to ask the man's sister for information if needed. Before reacting, the other slammed the phone down, grumbling about once wanting to pair his sister with Wu Lu. In the quiet space, Wu Lu gazed pensively at the photo behind, mind in turmoil. He suspected a conspiracy behind Xiaoqi's death. Was it power or enemies at play? He decided to meet Charlie as scheduled. Seeing Wu Lu, Charlie laughed loudly, noting his remarkable change, prompting Wu Lu to smile and ask about training results. Charlie confirmed he met minimum requirements, then said gravely, there was good and bad news. The good news, Wu Lu could now focus on one training type. He didn't yet grasp the bad news. Charlie smirked with intent, revealing the next training was to endure merciless beatings. With that, he lunged like lightning, striking Wu Lu before he could react. A brutal blow sent Wu Lu crashing into the wall, cracking the stone. Ali watched Wu Lu sprawl, mocking that surviving meant enduring such force. Wu Lu staggered up, dazed, questioning. Charlie replied firmly, the drill was to build endurance. Surviving meant winning. He paused, eyes cold, stressing the cruelty inside and outside dungeons. If you fall, strength means nothing. Wu Lu absorbed each word like a commandment. Charlie summoned a robot, ordering Wu Lu to dodge without countering, then turned to nap. The robot charged like wind, attacks relentless upon activation. Wu Lu dodged precise blows that could demolish the room. Though quick, facing such terrifying power, he couldn't help but falter. Sweat beading, he wondered if endless dodging was enough, then rejected the thought. The robot lunged again. Wu Lu suddenly recalled Charlie's teaching, like a spark igniting his mind. His eyes turned resolute. This time, he didn't dodge. He shifted tactics, preparing to block attacks, determined not to flee. From above, Charlie watched silently, pride gleaming on his face. He muttered that Wu Lu finally understood. This drill forged both physique and speed. He shouted that defense wasn't just muscle, it was willpower. His phone buzzed, displaying the caller, Tan Ma-hun. Charlie answered irritably, complaining about sleep deprivation and a packed training schedule. But the other cut in coldly, reporting an S-rank dungeon appeared in Shui'an village. Nearly the entire village was razed, making Charlie's face turn grave, recognizing the crisis's severity. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Lin Feng studied files in silence. Charlie entered, sat wearily, and announced Kazumi of 7 stars agreed to cooperate. Lin Feng nodded, praising his persuasion. Charlie sighed, admitting the situation needed urgent resolution. Looking at the ceiling, voice heavy with worry, he found it unbelievable an S-rank dungeon spread to another country despite 2 weeks of containment efforts. Lin Feng stayed calm, asking about the estimated resolution timeline. Eyes on a report about Shui'an. He said it'd be done in 45 days. Suddenly, Lin Feng gave Charlie an odd look, annoying him. He lowered his voice, revealing a key Chung Feng member was badly injured, unable to replace 7 stars yet. Charlie smiled faintly, noting internal conflict in the Li clan, as Li Chengfeng's siblings vanished, forcing him to search. After 45 days, an adventuring team, including Wu Lu, entered a dark dungeon. Mid-March, someone shouted they neared the end, facing a bizarre creature, making all wary. Rabbit-like with a rhinoceros horn, it was a region-specific beast. The team charged without hesitation. 2 beside Wu Lu marveled at the beast's strength. Another complained only a few experienced scouts were with them, wanting to fight too. A bald man coldly drew his sword. With 1 strike, he beheaded the beast. Another rushed in, stabbing it to ensure death. Seeing no danger, the bald man laughed, telling the team they could withdraw. All nodded, retreating with eased minds. However, Wu Lu noticed teammates' gazes toward him, oddly uneasy. A bad feeling rose. He grew alert when one hinted cryptically at the beast's speed. Wu Lu asked the man beside him if he knew anything. He dodged, saying the low monster count was oddly suspicious, urging caution. Suddenly, someone tapped Wu Lu's shoulder from behind. The man, face grim, offered to cover the rear and told Wu Lu's group to go ahead, heightening his suspicion. Wu Lu replied coldly that he understood their intent. Though moving with the team, Wu Lu couldn't hide his worry, suspecting a trap. Abruptly, a monster appeared, blocking the group. Shaped like a flying card, the team whispered excitedly about its appearance, except one who screamed in panic that two must be sacrificed, pointing at Wu Lu and another. Wu Lu glared contemptuously, questioning if they brought him here just to be a sacrifice for an invisible beast. He suddenly recalled Xiao Qi's exhausted tale about encountering such a creature. When asked for details, she said it forced people to vote for sacrificial victims. Wu Lu realized this was like a death game, where lives hinged on voting outcomes. The monster had two forms, one like a clock, only appearing after a decision, hence, invisible. Wu Lu wondered if it counted down. Xiao Qi shook her head, saying no one survived to answer. Staring at her orange juice, she mused that the beast muddled human reason, making them ready to kill, perhaps what they wanted. Wu Lu, still curious, asked if killing it yielded rare items. Then, excitedly, he asked what happened if chosen as a sacrifice. Xiao Qi paused, sighed, and said the only way was to kill the beast. Back in reality, candles on the creature glowed, showing 60 and images of 8 teammates on its spinning body. One gleefully pointed at Wu Lu's image, suggesting using him to trigger the beast's skill. Another agreed, proposing the youth with him too. As the clock hit 0, the group vanished, leaving Wu Lu and the other to face the beast. The creature grinned wickedly, sharp teeth bared as if ready to hunt. It roared, transforming fearsomely, exuding a deadly aura. The youth panicked, while Wu Lu, eerily calm, drew his sword to fight. Wu Lu coldly asked the youth if he'd end his own life. Terrified, the youth warned the beast's power far surpassed prior guardians, nearly unbeatable. Instantly, a powerful kick struck his stomach. He tumbled uncontrollably. He slid across the ground, while Wu Lu took the beast's blow, shaking the earth. Still confused, he sat dazed, calling Wu Lu's name blankly. Wu Lu stood, eyes blazing with resolve, shouting he'd never yield as the beast roared and charged. In Shui-An village, tension hung. Charlie, restless, met Cheng Feng and the Tianquan team. Charlie pressed for answers. Cheng Feng sadly reported Lin Yi's death. Charlie froze, hesitantly offering condolences. Cheng Feng blamed himself for lacking leadership. Charlie kept probing what happened in the dungeon, stunned as Cheng Feng described the invisible beast. Lin Yi sacrificed himself when the team refused to choose a victim. Skeptical, Charlie asked what if Lin Yi was trapped in a book. Cheng Feng said he destroyed it for safety. Charlie rubbed his forehead, exasperated, wondering why he always faced such harsh truths. Lighting a cigarette irritably, he stressed monitoring progress regardless of who acted, hoping Cheng Feng understood. Exhaling hazy smoke, his eyes heavy, he spoke of the Child of Fortune, a threat that could doom humanity, using the deaths of many masters to become a killing machine. If Lin Yi was among them, he'd have to kill a 7 Stars member. Someone nearby signaled it was time, suggesting they inform superiors the dungeon's worst threat might exceed S-Rank. Cheng Feng quietly adjusted his coat, handing Charlie a letter saying radiant light had revived. Charlie could hardly believe what he heard. In the dungeon, Wu Lu gritted his teeth, enduring brutal blows from the terrifying creature to shield Jing An. The beast shrieked, baring sharp teeth and unleashing a massive strike. Wu Lu raised his sword to block, but the force knocked him back. Face contorted, he shouted, striking back with full strength. Blood spurted from Wu Lu's mouth, his body weakening. The creature didn't stop, launching relentless attacks. Superb reflexes let Wu Lu dodge a fatal blow in time. Leaning on his hand, panting, he thought if the beast was as strong as rumored, he'd have fallen long ago. Clenching his teeth, he charged with steely eyes, betting on his final chance. Seeing the creature's mocking smile, Wu Lu, enraged, felt it was belittling him. In the decisive moment, he grabbed its arm. The beast reacted instantly, flinging Wu Lu upward. Despite being pulled, he analyzed. The longer its arm extended, the more flaws it exposed. As its other arm struck, he noticed its main body never moved. The weakness revealed. Seizing the chance, he let go, landing lightly before it. Without hesitation, Wu Lu thrust his sword into its immobile body, thinking this was his lifeline. A spark of hope flared in his eyes as the strike seemed effective. But then, the beast's elongated teeth snapped his sword like a twig. Wu Lu froze, unable to react. Another arm swiftly coiled around his leg. It hurled him upward, then slammed him hard to the ground. The impact caused excruciating pain, draining his strength completely. From behind, Jing-an screamed in panic, questioning why they fought this hopeless battle. Wu Lu lay motionless, breathing faint gasps. The beast slowly lifted him, preparing to swallow him, its arm wrapped around his waist. Its sharp teeth gleamed, jaws widening to tear him apart. In a daze, Wu Lu wondered if this was where his life would end. As consciousness faded, a blurry vision appeared. Xiao Qi smiling brightly, reaching out, softly calling, "Brother, let's go home." Wu Lu reached for the figure, whispering her name unconsciously. Memories surged, pulling him back 4 years to a cold gravesite. Xiao Qi, choking back tears, recounted Duaha's sacrifice to save Tran Yi, worried Tran Yi would collapse. She spoke, eyes teary. Wu Lu gently comforted her, assuring no one was at fault. She nodded but broke down, sobbing that if he ever left, she wouldn't know how to live. Wu Lu called her name tenderly, listening as she spoke with resolve. In the rustling autumn wind, her eyes blazed. "You're everything to me. Without you, this world is meaningless." She declared firmly that no matter his reasons for becoming an investigator, she'd never agree unless she was dead. Wu Lu was stunned by her fierce determination. He gently patted her head, promising he'd never leave. She asked worriedly if he felt shortchanged. Wu Lu smiled, voice firm yet warm. "Of course not. You're my life, too." At that moment, Jing-an shouted, gripping his sword, charging to duel the beast. He slashed with fierce momentum. Wu Lu struggled to watch, calling out weakly. Jing-an's sword broke in half, lacking the power to penetrate. The beast, unfazed, landed a powerful punch to his stomach. Jing-an spat blood, his body flying back, crashing into the stone wall, leaving a deep dent. Blood covered his face as he collapsed, falling unconscious. The beast seemed enraged, emitting savage roars. It bit Wu Lu's arm, blood gushing. His pained scream echoed, but the pain sharpened his focus. He pried its jaws with his other hand, vowing not to die until learning Xiao Qi's truth. It bit his shoulder, but he held firm, refusing to yield. He roared in his mind, eyes blazing with resolve, determined not to lose. With iron will, Wu Lu bit back into the beast's arm. Its agonized wail forced it to release him. He recalled his unavenged debt for Xiao Qi. He bit deeper, yanking hard, giving it no chance to react. Its arm tore from its body, losing grip, letting him fall. In excruciating pain, he gritted his teeth, silent. The beast, missing an arm, slowly dissolved and vanished before him. Wu Lu panted, coughing blood, doubting it was dead. He speculated he'd accidentally bitten its core. Lying on the ground, he muttered an apology, relieved, as if trading his life for an unkept promise to Xiao Qi. Suddenly, his wounds healed, startling him upright. A system interface appeared before him. It announced he'd received a passive healing item. Great Heal, low version. Auto-activated. Wu Lu couldn't hide his shock. Another system panel appeared. New skill acquired. Turn waste to treasure. Lying on his bed, Wu Lu recalled receiving that skill in the dungeon, still unclear on its mechanics despite days of analysis. Though hoping for miracles, he bitterly accepted reality rarely granted them. Suddenly, his phone rang. He answered, replying curtly, "Brother Chin, I'm free. I'll come now." The scene shifted. Qin appeared, smiling, waving at Wu Lu. Wu Lu approached, returning the greeting. Qin noted a few others hadn't arrived. Sitting beside him, Wu Lu was asked about his wounds. He smiled faintly, knowing he'd nearly fully recovered thanks to the healing skill. Still concerned, Qin advised building a reliable team if he wanted to be an investigator long-term. Wu Lu was about to reply when a female supervisor interrupted, announcing logistics prep for the mission. Everyone moved to a spatial gate. Qin told Wu Lu to set personal matters aside for the task. Through the gate, a picturesque scene unfolded. Lush grass, sunlight filtering through leaves. Qin eyed the beauty with suspicion and fear, prompting Wu Lu to ask. He rubbed his forehead, voice heavy. This place was resource-rich, but tough for logistics, with low-grade resources. Then, Alin joyfully spotted a strange purple mushroom, shouting, "Purple cloud mushroom, luck's here!" But its purple spores invaded his airways. Alin coughed violently, spitting saliva. Qin pointed out that while rich in goods, this place was troublesome to harvest. He patted Wu Lu's shoulder, apologizing for bringing him here. Wu Lu smiled, calling it a new experience as Qin warned, "Touch nothing, just stay close." Wu Lu spotted an odd mushroom, but Qin said it was useless. Sister Zhao announced the mission was complete, assigning groups to continue cleanup. Qin directed Alin and Wu Lu deeper into the area. Unexpectedly, the mushroom slipped from Wu Lu's hand unnoticed. He stared, confused, at his empty hand. Looking up, he saw the mushroom back in its original spot. Qin urged Wu Lu to move, while he remained puzzled by the event. A beast's corpse, slain by Sister Zhao, was dragged aside for processing. Sister Zhao gave strict instructions before leaving with the injured, entrusting Qin. Everyone worked silently. 20 more minutes passed. Wu Lu noted the dungeon's terrain affected item drops. After collecting, he confirmed progress with Qin, receiving a rushed reply. While moving, Wu Lu tripped on a small rock. The fall sent him and his cargo box tumbling forward. Falling, his hand brushed the still beast corpse. A green light flared, and the corpse vanished instantly. The bizarre sight left Wu Lu speechless. Qin, shocked at the wrong dissolution time, urgently ordered retreat. Wu Lu stepped through the portal, deeply rattled. He quickly left, leaving word he'd handle personal matters. The scene shifted to the team's common area. A system panel appeared, announcing rewards and a new message. Wu Lu opened it, puzzled by the earlier event. The system confirmed 2 special mushroom strands received. Wu Lu was stunned. Realizing the mushroom and corpse were broken down into useful items, he believed successful breakdowns could yield new skills, but his eyes darkened, heavy with deep thought. Wu Lu feared being exploited, lacking the strength to guard his new item's secret. In the interface's dim glow, he mulled details, planning cautiously for the future. Recalling the skill acquisition, he admitted he couldn't risk direct confrontation now. To avoid suspicion, discreet and timely action was essential. An idea sparked, eyes blazing, but it required Qin's help. Wu Lu resolved to execute the plan and quietly repay Qin later. The scene shifted to a lavish villa aglow with ostentatious lights. In a quiet room, Jing-an rested, battered but eyes unyielding. Cheng Feng appeared suddenly, prompting Jing-an's surprised question. Cheng Feng questioned his dispute with their father and intent to join Void Motion. Jing-an fiercely objected. Jing-an's words drew a sigh from Cheng Feng, blending helplessness and acceptance. He advised Jing-an to protect himself for family's sake, then left without hesitation. A sudden call from behind halted his steps. Jing-an looked on, voice resolute, eyes calm. He boldly declared he'd leave the Li clan, showing unshakable resolve. Next morning, Wu Lu trained in the park, sweating under early sun. While training, he brainstormed ways to safely decompose corpses. First plan, ask Qin Zi to create a fake identity to hide his true one. Next, have Qin Zi buy void spaces, using optimal environments to maximize output. Since void space sellers were unstable, he needed a reliable intermediary for smooth deals. Jumping off the bar, wiping sweat, Wu Lu mused that his plan needed a strong network. He already had one. Deep in thought, he noticed someone nearby. Turning, Wu Lu was surprised to see Jing An smiling brightly. Not far off, Jing An had just leapt from a bar, as if waiting. Wiping sweat, Wu Lu eyed the newcomer questioningly. Jing An shyly reintroduced himself, recalling past events. Surprised by the sudden appearance, Wu Lu asked his purpose. Jing An stammered, asking to join him. The question stunned Wu Lu, eyes wide, unclear on Jing An's true intent. Jing An eagerly said he wanted to emulate Wu Lu's steadfast will in void spaces. Wu Lu, silent, then sternly questioned Jing An's prior research on him. Jing An quickly denied it. Unsparing, Wu Lu coldly refused, stating he had nothing for others to follow. He turned to leave, leaving Jing An flustered, recalling being saved by him and vowing to cut ties. A cold glance back served as a final warning. Resolute. Jing An called after, voice steadfast, refusing to give up. But Wu Lu left swiftly, leaving Jing An standing, silently swearing to persist. At the void space gate, Qin Zi reported difficulty buying void spaces, puzzling Wu Lu. Qin Zi smoked, explaining void space appearance rules had recently changed. Wu Lu was surprised. As these rules were thought fixed, Qin Zi said nothing was permanent. About to ask more, Wu Lu noticed Jing An's presence. Jing An waved friendly. Qin Zi raised an eyebrow, asking if he was the persistent follower from the past half-month. Wu Lu Unai recounted working with Jing An once, unsure why he'd been tailed since. Qin Zi teased he might be smitten. Wu Lu sternly confronted Jing An, demanding the real reason. No more flimsy excuses. Jing An frantically clarified, insisting admiration for Wu Lu's strength. Wu Lu, confused, wondered what strength he had. Staring into Jing An's eyes, Wu Lu denied his own ability, reiterating he was just logistics. Harshly, Wu Lu stressed others were more suitable, urging no time wasting, but Jing An stood firm, praising his fighting spirit. Jing An's eyes shone with admiration, set on becoming like Wu Lu. Jing An's sincerity shook Wu Lu, who voiced his inferiority and desire to escape his brother's shadow. Wu Lu frowned, thinking of Jing An's mentioned brother, eyes turning pensive. For unknown reasons, he was suddenly struck. As if realizing something crucial, a memory surfaced, Xiao Qi excitedly showing a group photo. Busy then, Wu Lu glanced at it, casually asking and learning it was a 7 stars group shot. Now, recalling the face, he sharply asked Jing An, "Is your brother Li Chengfeng?" Jing An calmly confirmed. Wu Lu mused how the Li siblings' personalities starkly differed. A thought flashed through his mind. Facing Jing An, Wu Lu firmly rejected his request, expressing a desire for an unburdened, ordinary life. Before Jing An could react, Qin Zi called for work, prompting Wu Lu to leave. Before going, Wu Lu politely bid farewell, leaving Jing An staring, eyes fixed on him. After slaying a giant white octopus, a member asked confusedly about sampling. Another grumbled about missing his daughter's birthday. Wu Lu offered to handle the rest, smiling friendly at teammates. A teammate gratefully patted his shoulder, promising a treat later. Wu Lu smiled faintly, staying calm. After others withdrew, Wu Lu knelt, activating his decomposition skill, hoping for surprises. Touching the beast's giant tentacle, his skill activated. The corpse dissolved. The system reported common items and incomplete skin. A new item, boosting physique, caught Wu Lu's attention. He smiled, satisfied, thinking proper combination could spark a strength breakthrough. Suddenly, footsteps and a suspicious voice startled Wu Lu. Turning, he saw a teammate staring with scrutiny, unsure when he arrived. The man questioned what Wu Lu was doing. He feigned calm. Hand gripping a hidden knife, Wu Lu lied, saying the corpse vanished earlier. The man, red-faced, angrily scolded, doubting the corpse's disappearance timing. He approached, demanding clarity. Wu Lu, flustered, couldn't find a plausible excuse. As the man grew aggressive, Wu Lu quietly drew his knife, knowing persuasion was futile. Despite a calm tone, he couldn't dispel the tense atmosphere. Losing control, the man punched Wu Lu's face, yelling in rage. Wu Lu staggered, blood dripping from his mouth. The man brandished a knife, threatening. He issued a final threat, eyes hostile, demanding the truth. But before he finished, Wu Lu struck, stabbing fatally into his stomach. Before he could resist, Wu Lu landed a critical blow to his neck, knocking him out. The man lay motionless, no longer a threat. Wu Lu coldly withdrew the knife without hesitation. Eyes dark, voice steely with killing intent, he declared he'd given him a chance. Without looking back, he left the foe lying in silence, not touching the ground, eyes empty. Tears streamed, horror in his gaze. He muttered weakly, realizing the legend was real. His eyes closed for the last time, life leaving his body. Later, Wu Lu silently washed blood from his hands in a bathroom. He looked up. His gaze met his reflection in the mirror. Suddenly, the mirror showed a distorted smile. A mocking voice in his head repeating murderer. Unable to restrain, he threw a fierce punch. Mirror shards scattered. He muttered an old saying, then turned away. Water gushed, washing away blood and traces. His voice low, accepting that law was now a hollow shell. Killing had become normal. Wiping his hands, he coldly declared no reason was needed to kill. No one had the right to interfere. Resolute, he tossed the towel and left. A month later, Wu Lu emerged from a void space, carrying a crystal. A muscular man greeted jovially, teasing his delay. Wu Lu replied lightly, citing a stumble. Another laughed, urging caution, asking him to deliver items to the investigation team. He pointed to a tent where the team waited. Wu Lu smiled, agreeing. As he left, one worried about unchecked goods, but a teammate explained Wu Lu was known for honesty and kindness, always helpful. Tapping the other's head as a warning, he stressed even good people had limits. The scolded man grumbled, calling Wu Lu weak, then was shocked learning he was Radiant Light's brother. All watched Wu Lu's fading figure, wondering why Radiant Light's brother took grueling, low-paying work, worried as she hadn't appeared in a while. Wu Lu carried food, walking slowly home. Eyes heavy, he sighed helplessly, voice steady but tinged with exhaustion. He asked bluntly, "When will you stop following me?" Jing-an jumped, panicked, thinking he'd hidden his tracks. Still flustered, Wu Lu silently appeared, slapping his shoulder, startling Jing-an. Jing-an yelped, reacting fiercely. His head hit the nearby wall in panic. Wu Lu watched, thinking, with that courage he dares to stalk someone. Jing-an stammered, asking how he was caught. Wu Lu, arms crossed, voice icy, accused him of disrupting his life. Wu Lu warned gravely that if it happened again, he wouldn't hold back. Jing-an began to waver. Ignoring further, Wu Lu strode off without looking back. Jing-an frantically followed, trembling, insisting he could be useful. He tried persuading by offering to help sell goods, despite mockery and disdain. His words made Wu Lu's face harden, eyes wary. Wu Lu stared piercingly, voice dry, questioning if he feigned admiration to spy. Jing-an hurriedly denied, insisting it was coincidence and learning about sales was unintentional. Clenching his fists, he calmed, asserting he had sales channels and swore no eavesdropping or betrayal. Wu Lu weighed the situation, seeing Jing-an's identity could aid discreet goods distribution. About to speak, a loud explosion interrupted. Both startled by the shock, Jing-an turned toward the sound. He exclaimed, shocked an explosion hit a safe zone. On a nearby rooftop, two shadowy figures appeared faintly. Jing An instantly recognized one, shouting, "Brother Z!" In the air, Chung Feng faced Z, eyes brimming with killing intent. Z grinned arrogantly, mocking he'd caught prized prey. Silent, Chung Feng retaliated with a powerful shockwave. Though dodging, Z lost a few hairs to the grazing blow. Despite being attacked, Z taunted calmly, provoking with questions about his identity to stall. Chung Feng coldly cut him off, stating he cared nothing for Z's babble. Z played the first villain, hoping for leverage, but was completely ignored. Chung Feng, unresponsive, began gathering energy in his hand. The aura condensed into a sharp ice sword. Gripping the hilt, his icy gaze pierced Z like a blade. With a sardonic tone, he said he'd cooperate when Z was dead. Z, undeterred, formed a large fireball, feigning peace calls. While preaching halt, his hand kept powering the blazing orb. Chung Feng wasted no time, charging like a whirlwind. Cold wind howled as his figure sped toward Z. He swung decisively, slashing the fireball. The massive forces collided, creating a thunderous mid-air explosion. Using the smoke cover, Chung Feng's sword pierced toward Z, but Z blocked the stab with two fingers, smirking confidently. Unnervingly, unfazed, Chung Feng drew a second sword, attacking unexpectedly. Z barely noticed, retreating to dodge the deadly strike. The dodge freed Z's hand from the opponent's blade. He quickly counterattacked, seizing the initiative. Wiping blood from his face, Z grinned excitedly. Amazed, Chung Feng wielded dual swords. Chung Feng scoffed mockingly, congratulating as if unconcerned. Hearing this, Z grew thrilled, laughing heartily, relishing the fight. They clashed again, sword and fire colliding fiercely, a breathtaking scene Wu Lu and Jing An couldn't tear their eyes from. Overwhelmed, Jing An turned to flee in fear. Wu Lu grabbed his shoulder, asking coldly what he was doing. Jing An struggled, yelling, "I must find Big Brother!" Wu Lu frowned, questioning if risking his life to hinder others was worth it. He firmly advised that if he truly cared for his brother, staying safe was best. Eyes on the battle, he found it unbelievable Z could match Chung Feng. 7 stars, strongest. Thinking this, Wu Lu pulled out his phone, swiftly recording the opponent. Jing An, furious, refused to just watch, frustrated by his helplessness. Wu Lu left silently, leaving Jing An calling after, receiving only a cold reply that he had business. Later, both returned to Wu Lu's place. Before entering, Wu Lu left word he'd consider the proposal and contact later. Jing An frantically called him to stop, but Wu Lu ignored, slamming the door, startling Jing An. The door hit, making Jing An slump, wincing in pain, thinking he'd be let in. Meanwhile, eyed Wu Lu focused, uploading Z's images to his computer for investigation. When data loaded, the screen showed combat scenes. Footage highlighted the fierce duel between Z and Chung Feng. Wu Lu analyzed each frame, eyes sharp as knives, scanning details. Suddenly, a strange figure, a cat in a vest, flashed by, shocking him. He muttered, disbelieving his eyes. Without delay, Wu Lu called Chen Mu, sending the image, asking about the odd creature. Half an hour later, his phone rang again. Answering, Wu Lu asked urgently, but the other laughed, teasing he'd called the wrong person. Losing patience, Wu Lu snapped at Chen Mu to stop rambling. He cursed, then revealed it was Xing Yi's investigator symbol, a cat lover. But he added Xing Yi died last year, stunning Wu Lu, suspecting the death wasn't simple. Chen Mu elaborated. Xing Yi didn't die in an official mission, but unusually near an A-rank void space entrance. Killer unidentified. He asked where Wu Lu saw the image, receiving only a cryptic reply. Chen Mu warned seriously that the symbol meant trophy, urging avoidance of those bearing it. Wu Lu stepped onto the balcony, mulling trophy. Chen Mu shouted, annoyed at his feigned ignorance. Wu Lu gently opened the door, stepping into the hallway. Watching the distant chaos, he stirred, guessing the suspect had fled. Chen Mu kept warning, stressing trophy had clear meaning, asking if Wu Lu had more info. Lounging, Chen Mu teased that more details required begging. Unamused, Wu Lu sternly demanded straight talk. Chen Mu grew serious, voice low, revealing someone could steal others' symbols. No joke. He spoke of a masked figure, Zed, with a cautious tone, too mysterious even for superiors to control. Wu Lu froze, mentioning the Excavator organization, surprising Chen Mu that he knew it. Chen Mu asked, shocked, as he checked something on his phone. Wu Lu casually explained, Xiao Qi mentioned it once. Chen Mu analyzed. The Excavator group was chaotic yet oddly united, not to be underestimated. Wu Lu stayed silent, eyes deep in thought, making Chen Mu anxious. He worriedly pressed, suspecting Wu Lu planned to investigate the group, noting he no longer had protection. Wu Lu replied firmly, demanding Chen Mu speak truthfully, hiding nothing. Chen Mu exhaled, revealing Xiao Qi's info was leaking, soon to spread. Wu Lu pressed for the source. Meanwhile, a red-haired woman mysteriously handed Chen Mu a black card. After taking it, Chen Mu continued, confirming his info came from the Great Unity Guild's chairman, not traded, but extracted. Wu Lu agreed, asking Chen Mu to keep probing those using symbols as trophies. But to stay safe, looking at Xiao Qi's photos on the wall, Wu Lu said gravely he'd relocate when her death leaked. Chen Mu felt relieved at his calm. But before Chen Mu finished, Wu Lu hung up abruptly, unwilling to hear more. Touching Xiao Qi's photo, eyes sad, he thought he'd anticipated the leak from Brother Qin. Wu Lu whispered, fortunate Xiao Qi wasn't commodified, or consequences would be dire. He entered the training room, robots waiting. Combat simulation system activated instantly. A robot charged from the right, delivering a fierce blow. Wu Lu noticed but couldn't react, taking the full hit. 2 more robots rushed in, forcing him to retreat defensively. As a punch loomed, the robot froze mid-air. Charlie appeared at the door, clapping approvingly, noting Wu Lu's clear progress. Wu Lu wiped sweat, approaching Charlie humbly, thanking him. Charlie smiled lightly, saying he didn't teach much. He glanced over, hinting Wu Lu wasn't yet accustomed to this place. Charlie pointed at the robots, noting Wu Lu lacked the physique to handle both quickly, making him think the system's enhancement was exceptional. Charlie teased with intent, not probing his strength but questioning why he came today. Frowning, he warned against using training as a pretext, saying he was prepared when stepping out. Wu Lu stayed silent. Charlie turned, getting to the point. Li Chengfeng caused major trouble. Patting the step, he told Wu Lu to sit for a serious talk. As Wu Lu sat, Charlie recounted Li Chengfeng nearly destroying half of Mingkong City. Shocked, Wu Lu heard Charlie add, he seemed calm, but acted recklessly when provoked. Wu Lu had seen the fight with the white-robed man. Smoking, Charlie noted the white-robed man was strong, yet Li Chengfeng matched him. Unclear why he lost control. He added that radiant light likely revealed, unbound, Li Chengfeng was 7 stars top strategist. Charlie shared a secret. Li Chengfeng was the only 7 stars member with restricted power. Unleashed, he'd be a formidable killer. Wu Lu recalled Xiao Qi's words. Though Tianshu topped the list, Li Chengfeng was truly the strongest. He asked why Charlie shared this. Charlie, surprised, thought Wu Lu came for it. Wu Lu denied it. Charlie stared, suspecting Wu Lu targeted the white-robed man. Wu Lu confirmed firmly he wanted to uncover that man's identity. Charlie said he'd share if given a convincing reason. Wu Lu stated he didn't believe Xiao Qi died in a random exploration accident, and Charlie likely knew. Charlie admitted it, asking if that reason sufficed. Charlie suddenly raged, saying he planned to use Li Chengfeng to force Wu Lu's retreat, blaming his recklessness. Wu Lu, calm but firm, recalled Charlie's claim he could silence him. Charlie stared intensely, warning that knowing the truth would lead to a deadly, inescapable path, defying Radiant Light's wishes. Pausing, he revealed the white-robed man was from a new, mysterious group called Saints. Suddenly, he said something that struck Wu Lu like a blow, leaving him frozen in the silent room. Wu Lu looked up, asking sharply, "Did 7 stars replace members due to the Saints' emergence?" Charlie leaned against the wall, eyes cold, saying though the Saints' origins were unclear, their goals were evident. Frowning, he reasoned if the Saints aimed to eliminate investigators, they'd eventually clash with 7 stars. Defeating them first would secure control. Wu Lu countered sharply, "If their origins are unknown, how do you know their name?" Charlie likened them to shallow story villains, arrogant and unpredictable. Wu Lu smirked, mocking that they were like heretical groups hyping void motion. Charlie replied nonchalantly, voice weary, "Maybe. The world's full of delusional fools unaware of themselves." Wu Lu bowed his head, torn between duty and worry, asking if replacements were chosen. Charlie countered, surprised he didn't object. Wu Lu questioned if urgently replacing radiant light was necessary. Stunned, Wu Lu's eyes glared, probing Charlie's thoughts. Charlie raised a hand, saying since he loved his sister, he wasn't sure if Wu Lu would lose control. Wu Lu stood, calmly stating Xiaoqi was first herself, then his sister and 7 stars radiant light. Charlie laughed, giving a thumbs up, praising Wu Lu as his student, rational despite sisterly devotion. Unlike that brother-obsessed guy. His face hardened, eyes steely. Stressing, 7 stars was key to national stability, now critical to maintain for both organization and country. Wu Lu froze. Charlie looked regretful, apologizing. Wu Lu erupted but was cut off coldly by Charlie, insisting it was a necessary choice. Wu Lu pressed, confirming Charlie meant to reveal all even unasked. Charlie nodded, admitting sadly. Wu Lu harshly warned Xiaoqi's matter couldn't stay buried. Voice like iron, he accused replacing her as creating her clone, her sacrifice hidden as if it never was. Wu Lu turned, anger smoldering, mocking the plan's perfection. Charlie didn't retort, shouting the investigation contest was delayed, revealing a forming multinational alliance against them. Wu Lu, walking, halted at the news. Turning, eyes blazing, he accused them of never consulting him, now using justice to pressure him. Finishing, he left decisively, footsteps cold. Charlie, frustrated, bitterly said he wasn't suited for this. Dawn rose, sunlight spreading over mountains, leaves rustling. Wu Lu pointed to the training area corridor, his destination. Footsteps crunched dry leaves, breaking the morning forest silence. Before an E-rank cave, he studied a map, noting the other association was stuck. His skills stagnant, so he'd risk it once. Though tense, Wu Lu stepped forward without hesitation, thinking the money spent on this info better not be wasted. Before him, a vibrant blue vortex gate. Looking around, he marveled at Great Unity Guild's influence in finding this place. As his foot crossed the threshold, he stepped onto mirror-like water, light shimmering. The cave glowed otherworldly blue, with odd trees, glowing fruits, and eerie vines hanging from the ceiling. Wu Lu picked up a smooth stone, the air thick with damp moss scent. He threw it hard, rippling the water, suddenly shaking everything. A scarred, monstrous shark burst from the lake, massive as a nightmare. It chased the stone, mistaking it for prey, bearing rows of sharp teeth. Wu Lu sighed. Realizing his training exploration plan was ruined, he darted across floating stones, moving fluidly like surfing waves. Eyes sharp, movements graceful. His steps splashed water as he leapt between rocks. Suddenly, a giant shark surged, jaws wide like an abyss, aiming to swallow him. Wu Lu flinched, but reacted, pushing its jaw to divert the attack. Simultaneously, he spun mid-air, delivering a swift counter-strike. A water vortex swirled around him. He landed lightly, grumbling about these troublesome creatures. The sharks roared, charging, teeth gleaming like steel. Wu Lu calmly dodged within inches, sweat mixing with rain on his face, his resolute eyes undimmed. Another shark leapt from the water, blood-stained teeth aiming to devour. Wu Lu, with burning resolve, didn't retreat. launching a thunderous punch at its head, splattering green blood. Surviving the breathless assault, he landed gently on the opposite shore, eyes calm but vigilant. Cautiously scanning, he whispered relief, thankful not to face amphibious beasts in this chaos. Suddenly, the water exploded violently. Two sharks surged, forming water walls closing from both sides, shocking him. A giant hand slammed from behind, revealing a larger creature ambushing nearby. Trapped between two massive, scarred gray beasts, with glowing red eyes and snapping fangs, Wu Lu faced immense pressure. Gritting his teeth, he snapped irritably that they were overdoing it. A massive shock echoed through the forest, creating a terrifying shockwave. Wu Lu collapsed, panting after fiercely battling and defeating the shark pack. Surrounded by bloodied beast corpses, he muttered bitterly that if pulled underwater he'd have been torn apart. After cleanup, he touched a corpse. The system reported obtained two-footed human X1 fish meat and scales. Also, rare pearls, shark eyeballs, from both defeated creatures. Holding a pearl, Wu Lu looked dismayed at its beautiful yet gruesome form. Frowning disdainfully, he wondered why anyone used these rumored beauty enhancers. Turning to leave, he thought, only 2 pearls from a pack, not a total waste. Still, he sighed at bosses dropping rare items, let alone common mobs. His steps halted in the dark forest, seeing a glowing, clear lake with a radiant lotus emitting eerie light. A blue-purple butterfly, like from a fairy tale, landed, wings shimmering with ethereal glow, beautiful yet chilling. Wu Lu eyed it suspiciously, guessing it was the boss. Unease rose, knowing these butterflies were notorious for toxic dust and deadly illusions. Without hesitation, his eyes cold, he threw his sword at the creature on the lotus, whispering, "It's best lured to the rocks." The sword pierced its fragile body like lightning, spraying blue fluid, petals trembling under the weight of revealed truth. The lake rippled violently, as if an invisible gate opened. Waves spread, then quickly returned to suspicious calm. On the shore, Wu Lu squinted, feeling unease. A white, root-like arm rose, holding a glowing golden crystal, pulsing like a living heart in the dark. Eyes wide, he muttered a question, then charged like lightning. Throwing a decisive dagger, he thought, the butterfly was a trap. The real leader was this emerging creature. The black sword sped, shattering the creature's translucent body, exploding into countless glowing fragments with a ghastly sound. Post-battle, Wu Lu landed softly, eyeing the fading light traces, feeling lucky today. Approaching, he touched the sword amid glowing remnants, feeling unnatural cold, muttering that a stronger foe might have killed him. Suddenly, blue light flashed, startling him as an alien energy invaded, not of this world. Morning sunlight sparkled in the deep forest. Wu Lu jogged through dreamlike scenery, eyes quietly pensive. While running, he suddenly saw Qin Ji waving cheerfully. Wu Lu paused, then approached, asking why. Qin Ji feigned offense at being suspected of coming without reason. Wu Lu chuckled, responding. Qin Ji teased his toned physique, reiterating the need for reliable teammates. Wu Lu eagerly agreed, thanking him. Qin Ji laughed, promising to send info later. Suddenly, Qin Ji's demeanor shifted, eyes serious, asking why Wu Lu collected void spaces and beast corpses. Wu Lu recalled their talk near the spatial gate. Asking Qin Ji to find material sellers, now hindered by new laws. Probing, Qin Ji asked if it tied to Xiaoqi, pausing Wu Lu's thoughts. Images of Xiaoqi's besieged home flashed in Wu Lu's mind. Qin Ji mentioned spreading rumors and guild pressure. Wu Lu stayed calm, assuring the guild would clarify rumors and Xiaoqi's work would soon end, inviting Qin Ji and his wife for dinner. Qin Ji laughed, switching topics. Curious about recent activities, Wu Lu casually said he finished covert training. His mind flashed to life-or-death moments in the cave, where every second of inattention meant death by carnivorous plants. From battling bizarre plants to facing a giant beehive, to Wu Lu, these were mere trivialities in void space journeys. Qin Ji laughed, playfully punched his chest, and left. Wu Lu stood, giving an awkward smile and polite farewell. As Qin Zi's figure vanished, Wu Lu watched calmly, outwardly unmoved. But his eyes sparked with icy resolve, silently questioning if growing stronger could alter Xiaoqi's fate. Returning home, Wu Lu saw Jing An sitting dazed at his door, looking like he'd waited long. Seeing him, Jing An sprang up, calling cheerfully. Wu Lu asked coolly how long he'd waited. Jing An grinned, saying about 10 days. Wu Lu sighed, both exasperated and helpless at his persistence. After a curt remark, Wu Lu opened the door. Jing An peeked, cautiously asking if he could enter. Denied, Jing An looked up, eyes pleading, begging to follow. Wu Lu doubted his excessive friendliness. Without waiting, Wu Lu set a clear condition. To join, Jing An must enter void spaces with him. Seeing hesitation, Wu Lu firmly refused, warning that without resolve, there was nothing to discuss. Jing An gripped his backpack, eyes eager, asking Wu Lu's thoughts. He coldly replied he needed a partner, not a brother. Wu Lu offered a deal. Jing An handles sales, 7-3 split, ensuring no one links the goods to him. Jing An agreed instantly, boasting business confidence. Wu Lu gently suggested training plans, knowing he had 7 Star's brother as backing. Jing An suddenly stepped closer, cheeks flushed, insisting he truly needed help. Wu Lu stepped back, politely but firmly declining, saying he had matters to handle. Before parting, Wu Lu suggested exchanging another contact method for later talks. Jing An's eyes lit up, waving enthusiastically, promising to await his call. A week later, Wu Lu paused on a winding, desolate hill path, grumbling about void spaces' increasingly remote locations. He sped through a small forest, pondering 3 E-rank void space coordinates he bought, scattered and isolated. Approaching an old wooden house, Wu Lu mused on the market's scarce supply and declining trade value. Though prepared, results disappointed. He pinned hopes on Jing An, bringing good news. Walking in the quiet forest, Wu Lu froze as a swirling blue gate appeared, signaling lurking danger. A massive dark green snake lunged from the gate, eyes fierce with intent to attack. Wu Lu reacted instantly, swinging his sword, the slash tearing through space. The powerful strike bisected the snake, which screamed in agony before collapsing. Wu Lu frowned, suspicious that wild creatures neared void spaces, unprecedented since their existence. Worry surged. He thought if this stemmed from rule changes, humanity faced an unpredictable threat. Without hesitation, Wu Lu entered the vortex gate, ready for what awaited. He stepped into a dense, ancient forest, a dirt path leading deeper, the gate behind still glowing. Deeper in, unease grew. He stayed hypervigilant, sensing time here didn't sync with the outside world. A sharp sound rang. Bamboo shoots were yanked up by an invisible force. A strange force pushed from behind, nearly toppling Wu Lu as bamboo shoots swayed mockingly. Before stabilizing, a giant glowing-eyed python lunged from the brush, venomous fangs bared with killing intent. Wu Lu slashed the first snake, then swiftly grabbed another charging one. Merciless, he hurled it into the bamboo, startling the plants. But as monsters multiplied, Wu Lu abandoned the attacked bamboo, fleeing. With urgent steps, he realized he couldn't linger as beasts kept coming. Suddenly, Wu Lu stopped, eyes sharpening, cautiously glancing back. The snakes retreated. The bamboo seemed sulky, relieving Wu Lu as he escaped the encirclement. Continuing, he regretted losing decomposition materials in the chaos. Deeper in the misty forest, sunlight filtered through. A shimmering figure appeared under the canopy. Wu Lu halted, eyes wary, shocked to see a humanoid monster in an E-rank void space. Memories surged. Humanoid monsters were rare and deadly. Few survived encountering them. A silver-haired elder, reading a book in the surreal space, noticed Wu Lu, looking up with strange eyes. His low voice broke the silence, asking if they'd met before. Wu Lu felt confused as no prompts appeared, realizing this wasn't a typical question-answer monster. Recalling Xiaoqi's tales, he remembered a special humanoid type. Forced question-answer, wrong answers empowered it, correct ones weakened it. The elder sighed, lamenting memory loss, voice tinged with helplessness. Suddenly, he looked at Wu Lu seriously, asking him to pick a better movie from 4 he'd seen. Wu Lu froze, mind reeling as the elder didn't attack, showing no attribute stats. Weighing intensely, he muttered under pressure. If he answered wrong, would he die instantly? Wu Lu seriously asked, why not watch all? The elder cheerfully said good things must be savored slowly, as he loved them all. Stumped, Wu Lu suggested a die to decide. The elder tilted his head, unfamiliar with it. Wu Lu pulled out a die, explaining that when unable to choose, letting luck decide was best. The elder grew curious, asking how it worked. With no choice, Wu Lu rolled the die. It stopped at 3. The elder cheered, as 3 was his favorite movie. Wu Lu sighed, unsurprised by the outcome. Instantly, the movie images above the elder vanished. Wu Lu gripped his weapon, cautiously stepping back defensively. The elder asked why, confused. Wu Lu stammered, claiming an insect bite, then deflected by asking about his actions. The elder answered seriously, eyes mischievous, saying he sought a gift for Wu Lu, who was baffled. He flipped through the book, face childlike, pondering the best gift. Finally, he tore a page, handing it to Wu Lu with a faint smile, calling it a reward for help. The glowing page swirled, transforming into a radiant clock hovering mid-air. With a warm voice, the elder mused that some humans were still decent, stirring emotions. He turned, stepping into a giant gate behind, waving farewell, hoping to meet again. Wu Lu caught the clock, mind tangled, unable to fathom why a gift-giving monster existed in a cave. The system notified, he received a clock with 2 functions, stat checking and one-time death immunity. Clutching it, Wu Lu felt conflicted, clearly a high-level threat, yet its actions were oddly innocent and kind. Meanwhile, at Qingyang Capital's arena, a lively atmosphere filled the stands. Chen Mu yawned, bored, uninterested in the scene. Idly watching 2 fighters, he grumbled about poor matches and his pointless presence. Checking his phone, Chen Mu jolted at 13 missed calls from Wu Lu, feeling looming pressure. Stepping behind the stands, he answered casually, asking why. Wu Lu, worried, asked where he was. Chen Mu, hand in pocket, said he was watching amateurs fight, then asked seriously about Wu Lu's situation, specifically the humanoid monster in the void space. Shocked by the question, Chen Mu denied encountering one, insisting such creatures were extremely rare. Eating, he asked back. Wu Lu confirmed their rarity, even for frequent explorers. He explained void space logs were rare, precise rulebooks for void spaces. Wu Lu described meeting a humanoid monster, dangerous-looking but not aggressive, alarming Chen Mu. Wu Lu, puzzled by Chen Mu's reaction, heard him guess it was a rare, great benevolent entity. Chen Mu described it as statless, often giving rare items to those encountered. Wu Lu questioned why such vital info wasn't shared to exploit its value. A sudden explosion near Chen Mu interrupted the talk. Wu Lu gripped the clock, pondering, then asked who controlled this affair. The system displayed Wu Lu's game-like stats, level, strength, and abilities. Wu Lu eyed the data, unsure of its true purpose. Chen Mu didn't know why he was summoned, noting 7 stars already handled the area. He added that besides Fisher and Bay, others were involved. At the hill's base, Fisher, overloaded, chatted jovially with another, leaving Chen Mu helpless. Chen Mu hurriedly ended the call as the situation turned critical. Before hanging up, Chen Mu stressed that great benevolent info was hidden to avoid misidentification. Wu Lu sighed, calming himself and setting the matter aside. At night, Qingyang's Investigation Guild headquarters glowed, signaling constant activity. Che Lai on a call said he'd send something, then hung up to handle personal matters. After, Che Lai snapped at his companion, urging them to finish quickly. Nai Hai, the elderly guild leader, asked pointedly why Che Lai was so impatient. Che Lai fumed, saying waiting nearly 2 hours was outrageous, mocking Fisher's habitual lateness as less annoying. The teen beside him angrily retorted, defending his delay due to duties. Che Lai's cold glare demanded he get to the point. Nie Hai calmly announced the summons. Fisher would train recruits. Charlie would verify something. Fisher scoffed, mocking the recruit's weakness. Nie Hai countered that failing in training beat battlefield defeat. Asked for input, Che Lai sternly refused, citing lack of time and skill, requesting leave. Suddenly, the desk phone glowed, drawing all attention. Ignoring the refusal, Nie Hai assigned a 3-day task with arranged support, infuriating Che Li, who shouted. Nie Hai's voice turned icy, stressing it was an order, not a discussion. Fisher stormed out, defiantly saying he'd only follow Tiansu's orders. Watching Fisher leave, Nie Hai sighed. Che Lai smirked, mocking the guild's choice of weaklings and blaming the strong. Che Lai's tone shifted, seriously questioning the guild's controversial choices. Nie Hai countered, asking who Che Lai shared great benevolent info with, leaving him speechless. He emphasized the task relied on Che Lai's skill and intuition, expecting worthy results. Facing the question, Che Li stayed silent. Next morning, two trained hard on lush grass. Wu Lu eyed panting Jing An, doubting if he'd ever trained seriously. Jing An, exhausted, collapsed, muttering he'd only jogged lightly daily. Wu Lu frowned, pressing further. Hearing Jing An's a few thousand steps, he warned to quit early if unchanged, as safer paths existed. Jing An weakly explained childhood illness left him frail. Wu Lu asked if it couldn't be cured. Jing An sighed, recounting failed treatments even by healing investigators, making Wu Lu think of void space treasures as a last resort. Jing An noted such treasures were hard to access, hoarded by nobles. Wu Lu doubted no one would trade. Jing An revealed meeting someone willing to trade, mentioning great benevolent, sparking Wu Lu's suspicion. Wu Lu feigned surprise. Jing An said Tiansu met a great benevolent, her weapon a gift from it. Though a monster, Tiansu talked, not fought, receiving a weapon. Wu Lu was stunned at such kindness. Jing An believed great benevolent fit its nature. The tale raised Wu Lu's doubts. Records never mentioned fair trades. Was it hidden or unrecordable? Jing An asked curiously. Wu Lu calmly replied, suggesting borrowing the villa, which Jing An eagerly agreed to. Jing An wondered about solo training. Wu Lu, walking, pondered resources controlled by big organizations. Wu Lu wanted no guild ties or bribes, choosing self-reliance. Gazing at the sky, Wu Lu sank into nameless sorrow, haunted by Xiaoqi's memories, avoiding her connections unless necessary. 2 weeks later, the teen returned to the familiar building. He walked slowly, masking inner turmoil, but instinct halted him. The shattered door revealed a chaotic, unnatural scene. Wu Lu entered, face cold, eyes scanning warily. Suddenly, an object shot toward him with terrifying force. A seemingly harmless chopstick flew at extreme speed, carrying immense power. Looking up, Wu Lu saw Fisher von Masters sitting casually, eyes piercing. Wu Lu mocked if this was 7 stars' standard greeting. Fisher coldly asked if he was Xiaoqi's useless brother, gripping her precious photo frame, enraging Wu Lu. Wu Lu shouted to return it. Fisher sneered, taunting further. Fisher advanced, provoking. Wu Lu stood firm, repeating his demand, met with Fisher's icy challenge. Unable to hold back, Wu Lu charged, fists clenched, aiming to take Fisher down. Fisher faced him calmly, mocking Wu Lu's lack of strength to be angry. Instantly, Fisher countered, choking Wu Lu with superhuman force, questioning his right to exist. Fisher roared, accusing Wu Lu of never honoring Xiaoqi, unworthy as her brother. Amid pain, Xiao-Qi's gentle voice echoed in memory, recalling a birthday with just them. Breathing faltered, throat crushed. Wu Lu's vision blurred, yet he didn't yield, struggling with his last strength. Face tense, eyes red with fury and rising resolve. Wu Lu grabbed Fisher's collar, locked in a tense struggle, resisting fiercely. With a sudden, decisive kick, Wu Lu made Fisher spit blood, caught off guard. Eyes blazing, Wu Lu prepared to strike again, aura like fire around his arm. Raising his fist, left hand yanking Fisher's hair, tilting his head, making him writhe in pain, face defiant yet helpless. Without hesitation, Wu Lu punched Fisher's face, making him pale, sweat streaming under immense pressure despite resistance. When the punch was blocked, Wu Lu swiftly kicked, forcing Fisher to retreat to lessen damage. Seizing Fisher's lapse, Wu Lu snatched the photo frame instantly. Halting the fight, he stepped back, coldly questioning Fisher's right to doubt their sibling bond. Wu Lu released him, golden hair falling as a final warning. Leave, now. Fisher ignored, smirking, recalling a frail Wu Lu, exhausted after stares, barely lifting a bag. He mocked past struggles, questioning if such a weakling was Xiao-Qi's brother, fainting at power outages. Fisher's anger flared, thinking Wu Lu only grew strong too late. Crying after Xiao-Qi's death, Wu Lu endured silently, knowing how others viewed Xiao-Qi and himself. Fisher grabbed his collar. Roaring, he fought beside Xiao-Qi in life-or-death void battles. Fisher's words stabbed Wu Lu's heart, his resolve fading, leaving quiet pain. Wu Lu sank to the floor, spirit broken. Fisher turned, carrying unquelled resentment. Fisher's voice, heavy with self-blame, swore he'd have died for Xiao-Qi if present. Before Xiao-Qi's portrait, Fisher knelt in regret, questioning his absence at her fatal moment. Wu Lu coldly asked why Fisher wasn't there, receiving scorn and harsh rebuttal. Fisher icily asked if Xiao-Qi truly knew the cold person she trusted. Wu Lu angrily demanded Fisher explain or leave. Fisher stood firm, doubting Wu Lu's ability to avenge Xiao-Qi. Wu Lu insisted her sacrifice wasn't in vain. Wu Lu mentioned her one-use escape item, questioning why she didn't use it. Fisher looked confused, suspicious. Fisher probed if she didn't or couldn't use it. Wu Lu vaguely said no limits prevented its use. As Fisher puzzled, Wu Lu suggested someone stopped Xiao-Qi from using it. He hung her photo, certain she didn't abandon her team. Wu Lu's words stunned Fisher, who swore her team was loyal, staking his life on it. Wu Lu coldly asked, what if someone used a special device? Fisher, shocked, was speechless. Wu Lu analyzed, an intruder's special device could double a boss's strength via lockdown. Fisher realized the issue's gravity. Wu Lu stressed a possible traitor or deadly foe. Wu Lu proposed, no traitor or intruder, just an enemy using a lockdown device to trap Xiao-Qi's team. Wu Lu warned a lockdown device seals a void space, depleting oxygen in 3 minutes, leaving no escape. Wu Lu questioned why Xiao-Qi didn't retreat or pass the device, doubting the intent behind it. Wu Lu didn't believe this hadn't been considered. Fisher backed away, stammering, aware of the device's rarity. Wu Lu sternly said no matter how rare, saving a 7 Stars member was worth it. Fisher slumped, tormented for missing Xiao-Qi's mission, distracted by rescuing a shady official's son. Investigation found the requester abused power, not tied to a plot, leaving no proof Xiao-Qi was targeted. Fisher doubted Wu Lu's belief. Wu Lu affirmed Xiao-Qi's promise to return was absolute. Fisher stood, understanding why Xiao-Qi trusted Wu Lu, his voice softening with admiration. He walked to a corner, picking up a carefully wrapped sword. Fisher unwrapped it, revealing a crimson blade radiating danger and power. He handed it to Wu Lu, saying it was one of Xiao-Qi's 2 swords, now returned to her closest kin. Wu Lu bowed, accepting it, unable to hide heavy sorrow holding her cherished item. Fisher softly asked if returning it to Xiao-Qi's family needed further approval. Wu Lu shook his head, gripping the sword tightly, eyes fixed on it with a mix of grief and resolve. Fisher nodded, stepping back, saying, "Then it's yours. Make her proud." Fisher handed Wu Lu a black card from his pocket. Wu Lu examined it cautiously. Fisher warned investigating Xiao Qi's death exceeded his current abilities. Fisher challenged him, saying their fight didn't show his full strength. Wu Lu admitted if Fisher fought seriously, he'd lose in one move. Internally, Wu Lu was glad the card could improve his swordsmanship pursuit. The card held contact info for Unbreakable, a swordsmanship dojo leader. Fisher donned his hat, saying before leaving that Xiao Qi's role was replaced. At a cafe, Huo Hai rushed in, apologizing for tardiness due to a madman, looking embarrassed and tired. Wu Lu calmly inquired, not blaming. Huo Hai smiled awkwardly, asked about the incident. Huo Hai recounted a deranged man's terrifying attacks across streets, causing chaos. Surprised at Wu Lu's calm, he said such uncontrolled criminals would increase. Huo Hai agreed, noting pressure drove both normals and investigators to collapse. Directly, Huo Hai asked why summoned. Wu Lu needed help with throwing knives and gear. Huo Hai mused gear was doable with connections, but knives were tricky, needing time. Wu Lu thanked sincerely. Huo Hai, shy, shared his dream of starting a guild. Wu Lu asked if it was a warehouse. Huo Hai denied, saying it'd expose them. But Wu Lu noted guilds needed 3 members. As coffee dwindled, Huo Hai offered Wu Lu a silent shareholder role. Wu Lu didn't respond, teased by Huo Hai's look. Wu Lu startled, looking afar. Huo Hai followed, shocked to see his second brother return. In the crowd, Xiao Qi appeared with Fisher, staring at a large screen in the bustling street. Huo Hai insisted Xiao Qi couldn't die as rumored. 7 Star's appearance signaled abnormality. Wu Lu, pensive, showed no clear emotion. He recalled Fisher saying Xiao Qi's replacement was the most innocent in the plot. Fisher stressed the event's importance, saying even 7 Stars couldn't shift it, then said he'd return to the capital. Before leaving, he told Wu Lu to watch the news and grow as strong as 7 Stars to change fate. Fisher's words stung, fueling Wu Lu's helplessness and desire to overturn the game. Noticing Wu Lu's unease, Huo Hai urged him not to let rumors affect him. Wu Lu smiled, calming, denying anger. Wu Lu shifted to training. Huo Hai admitted slacking due to busyness, but Wu Lu reassured no pressure. Not wanting more talk, Wu Lu stood, saying he'd leave for days and contact later. Huo Hai sat, thinking Wu Lu was still upset. He sighed, empathizing with Wu Lu's distress over false rumors. At Unbreakable Dojo, Wu Lu trained relentlessly, sweating, focused on swordplay. 2 men outside speculated why Coach Yi Hai brought Wu Lu, unaware of his identity. They marveled at Wu Lu's thousands of daily sword swings, wondering why he chose the dojo. Yi Hai approached. Wu Lu greeted respectfully. Yi Hai noted his growth, pleased. He mentioned Wu Lu's half-month basic training. Wu Lu understood, unresentful. Yi Hai smiled cryptically, asking if he wanted real combat training. Wu Lu agreed, earning a formal invite. Wu Lu was surprised, as basic training wasn't complete. Yi Hai admitted low initial expectations, but Yi Hai's gaze shifted, showing trust in Wu Lu's progress. Wu Lu expressed earnest gratitude, seeking continued guidance. Facing sincerity, Yi Hai stayed silent. He walked to the sword rack, saying swordsmanship's essence was one word. Before Wu Lu reacted, Yi Hai drew his sword like lightning. The blade grazed Wu Lu without a scratch, too fast to trace. It lodged in the wall. Wu Lu stood awestruck at the speed. Yi Hai, poised, explained speed was key. One swift move could kill. Wu Lu drew his sword, eyes resolute, signaled by Yi Hai, preparing his fastest strike. He assumed a stance, sword raised, gauging Yi Hai's strength-focused build. Wu Lu struck directly, aiming for shock with speed and power. Yi Hai didn't move. Catching the blade with 2 fingers, mocking Wu Lu's hidden grudges and feigned innocence. Laughing, he tossed the sword down, asking Wu Lu's thoughts. Wu Lu reflected, admitting weakness, lacking speed due to poor foundation, noting differences between knives and swords. Yi Hai laughed, saying he'd passed the beginner threshold. Wu Lu saw his next path. Stats appeared. HP 2974, Attack 137,301, Magic 290, Defense 2,413, Agility 349. Smiling at the system, Wu Lu vowed to boost speed alongside swordplay. Yi Hai asked if he aimed for agility to counter strength. Wu Lu sought balance. Yi Hai nodded, praising his calm, non-impulsive nature. But he frowned, sensing Wu Lu hid something complex. Wu Lu smiled cautiously, half admitting, half dodging with a playful challenge. Yi Hai waved, leaving, urging Wu Lu to know himself and his path. Wu Lu thanked him, met with a casual dining invite. Before vanishing, Yi Hai warned of a rich troublemaker targeting Wu Lu. Hide if bothered. The odd warning left Wu Lu puzzled. In an E-rank void space, damp and dark with slimy moss, faint light seeped through cracks. Deep inside, Wu Lu appeared, felling a beast with one slash. He approached, collecting loot. System notified. 1 red gold wing, 3 mutated meat, 1 scorpion tail. Wu Lu read, shocked the system noted the meat's deadly toxicity. Confused, he wondered why it highlighted meat, not rare resources or skills. He realized corpses couldn't leave, but were usable in closed spaces. Eating toxic meat often killed novices. But why this warning? He smashed a red crystal, notified, Thunder System void space eradicated. A strange green glow enveloped him. He wondered if the system feared he'd eat it or learned a new skill. Entering a teleport gate, he muttered irritably. Elsewhere, a phone rang repeatedly, showing Qin. Post-battle, freshly showered, Wu Lu answered Qin Zi's call calmly. He agreed to help without hesitation, hearing urgency. After Qin Zi's situation, Wu Lu sympathized, taking his task so he could take his wife to the doctor. Hanging up, Wu Lu stared at Xiaoqi's photo, eyes pensive. Her radiant smile lingered in his mind. Next day, Qin Zi's team assembled. The leader greeted Wu Lu, assessing his fitness. The leader briefed D-rank void space rules, advising Wu Lu to observe, follow orders, and speak little. Checking his watch, he announced departure time. He ordered the team to prepare. Entering the void space, all were stunned by the scene. They stood in a bizarrely blended space, unlike before. The leader warned to stay cautious. Falling meant no rescue. Wu Lu stayed silent, highly alert. He knew D-rank and above could have composite void spaces, with surreal worlds posing unpredictable dangers. Reflecting, Wu Lu deduced the monsters were robots, indicating an incomplete merge. A loud explosion sounded. The leader rallied the team to stay vigilant and search. Finding nothing, a member reported no resources. Another complained the small void space had only robots, structures, and unmovable ships. One suggested dismantling a ship, but Wu Lu said it was likely hollow. A bespectacled member confirmed the ship was empty. The leader asked how Wu Lu knew. He said he read it online, though certain only the boss held value. Seeing no gain, the leader decided to withdraw, assuming the boss was dead since it was quiet. Indeed, a giant robot lay dead amid black smoke. The team collapsed, exhausted. A white-haired member panted, saying the robot was too strong for a D-rank boss. Wu Lu's team arrived. The white-haired man asked them to collect remains. Observing, Wu Lu overheard nearby talk of destroying the core to retreat. Nearing the core, he plotted to claim resources amid the crowd, regretting the rare boss. As Lao Tam prepared to destroy the core, a blade pierced his chest, shocking all. Jia Ming's face was coldly lethal. Lao Tam, in pain, asked why betrayed. Teammates roared, recalling Lao Tam's past aid to Jia Ming. Jia Ming coldly said he ended Lao Tam quickly out of gratitude, sparing him pain. The white-haired man, enraged, charged with a spear, demanding Jiaming's true identity. Jiaming easily dodged, showing complete dominance. In an instant, he finished his opponent, advancing coldly toward the survivors. Shedding his disguise, he revealed a strange face with a Roman numeral 19 on his cheek, calling himself Number 19, his real name irrelevant. The crowd retreated warily. One tremblingly asked if he was from the abyss. Number 19 laughed, intrigued someone knew of it. Seeing the dire situation, Captain An planned to stall Number 19, urging others to destroy the core and escape, emphasizing Wu Lu's protection per Qin Ji's orders. Wu Lu, confused, worried for An's safety in this danger. An, resolute, insisted a leader protects his team at all costs. Number 19 sneered at An's charge, mocking the group's weakness. An gripped his weapon, urging his team to seize the chance to survive. He fought fiercely to buy time, but to Number 19, he was a meaningless weakling. Number 19's killing intent surged, his gaze filled with disgust, aiming to destroy all. As An approached, Number 19 raised his sword for a lethal strike without hesitation. An, aware of the power gap, refused to retreat, facing it with all his might despite knowing he couldn't win. At the critical moment, another sword blocked Number 19's strike from above. Wu Lu rushed in, shielding An, his icy gaze locked on the enemy. Number 19 smirked mockingly, taunting another weakling's rebellion. Wu Lu didn't respond, telling An to lead the others away, moving on deeply. Number 19 scoffed, mocking their futile heroism, claiming to be a principled villain, offering Wu Lu a chance to speak his last words. Ignoring the taunt, Wu Lu sternly asked if he was from the abyss. Number 19 confirmed, unashamed. Wu Lu sensed something off, his expression turning pensive. He analyzed the abyss as a cruel group dealing in human trafficking and training cold-blooded assassins. The more he reasoned, the stranger it felt. But his thoughts were abruptly cut off. Number 19 launched a fierce attack, forcing Wu Lu to brace himself, eyes sharpening with focus. Seeing Wu Lu's calm, Number 19 scolded him for ignoring him. Wu Lu gripped his sword, ready to fight. Number 19 laughed viciously, calling Wu Lu ignorant of his place. They clashed intensely, sword clashes echoing. The team marveled at Wu Lu's superior speed. One wondered why a strong fighter like Wu Lu was in logistics. An snapped to focus on the core. During the fight, Wu Lu was shocked by Number 19's overwhelming power, knocked back, using his sword to steady himself. Number 19 gave no respite, pressing with relentless attacks. Charging for a finishing blow, Wu Lu dodged, but was still sent flying. Retreating to regain footing, Wu Lu landed a precise kick, nearly disarming Number 19. He stood firm, landing successfully, preparing a counterattack. Seizing the moment, Wu Lu struck, surprising Number 19, who praised his unexpected strength. Despite provocation, Wu Lu stayed calm, quoting that villains die for talking too much, irking Number 19. Enraged, Number 19 roared that Wu Lu crossed his limit. They clashed at high speed, steel ringing like thunder in the cave. Meanwhile, An stealthily reached the robot core and destroyed it without hesitation. A member cheered, relieved to escape. Number 19 abandoned Wu Lu to charge at them. Wu Lu shouted a warning to An, who shielded the team, yelling for them to flee. Wu Lu pursued Number 19, preventing him from reaching the others. As he approached, Number 19 spun, attacking. Wu Lu ducked swiftly. Countering, Wu Lu landed a powerful kick to Number 19's head, sending him crashing. Without pause, Wu Lu reached the core, urging the team to escape the void space. Before finishing, An screamed for Wu Lu to run immediately. Thinking Number 19 was down, he reappeared like a phantom, furious at their premature celebration. Giving Wu Lu no time, he stabbed through him, causing Wu Lu to scream in pain. Wu Lu clung to the sword, piercing him, trying to resist, further enraging Number 19. Number 19 mocked, saying Wu Lu wasn't worthy of their victory feast. Despite the scorn, Wu Lu twisted the sword and struck Number 19's throat, hitting a vital point. Unfazed, number 19 laughed eerily, chilling Wu Lu, recalling the grim fate of his last insulter. Under cold moonlight, number 19's body ignited in purple flames, vanishing, leaving Wu Lu horrified as Anne urged him to flee. Before reacting, a cold sword pierced Anne from behind. Number 19 appeared behind Anne, laughing, telling Wu Lu he was lucky it wasn't a fatal strike. He lifted An like an object, tossing him down disdainfully, feigning kindness. Wu Lu froze, terrified by number 19's unnatural ability, suspecting a special system power. The system had 8 main types. Wu Lu's was enhancement, but number 19's was uniquely different. In pain and fear, Wu Lu calculated, if number 19's clone had 2/3 his power, even one gave Wu Lu a 10% win chance. Hearing this, number 19 mocked but showed interest in Wu Lu's knowledge. Time pressed. Another number 19 clone emerged from the mist, dragging 2 of Wu Lu's teammates coldly. He tossed them aside like trash, offering a cruel choice. Wu Lu dies, or they do. Though injured, Anne shouted for Wu Lu to run. The 2 teammates begged not to be abandoned. Wu Lu stood torn between life and death, mind tangled, unable to decide. He glanced at the teleport gate, hoping for an escape. Number 19, reading his intent, closed in, whispering venomously not to try anything foolish, watching his every breath. Wu Lu gritted his teeth, eyes fixed on his desperate teammates, recalling Xiao Qi's mysterious death and unfinished business. He couldn't fall now. Wu Lu mustered all strength, seeking an escape. Number 19 threatened haughtily, issuing terms and counting down. Wu Lu struggled to find a way out. Despite exhaustion, and weakly warned him. His words enraged number 19, who raised his sword threateningly. Without hesitation, he attacked the terrified teammates. The others shouted, but the assault continued. Wu Lu yelled, halting number 19's killing blow. Number 19 paused, satisfied but still vigilant. Wu Lu offered himself in exchange. Number 19, unmoved, sneered. Wu Lu responded silently with resolute eyes. Number 19 mocked, claiming he offered pity, doubting Wu Lu's survival. Wu Lu stood firm, challenging him inches from the gate. Number 19 scoffed, accusing Wu Lu of selfishly saving himself. Wu Lu calmly countered, vowing nothing would stop his chosen path. He exposed number 19's intent to sow discord, never planning to spare anyone. His sharp words enraged number 19, losing his calm. As number 19 raged, Wu Lu signaled his team to retreat. The group helped each other flee the dangerous battlefield. One looked back, eyes full of worry, urging Wu Lu to survive. Number 19 roared, challenging Wu Lu to a life-or-death fight. Gripping his sword, he charged, intent on ending it with force. His attack was suffocatingly powerful, but Wu Lu dodged gracefully. Wu Lu countered with a radiant slash, striking precisely. The fight grew fierce, neither yielding. A sudden kick from number 19 unbalanced Wu Lu, crashing into stone. Before Wu Lu reacted, number 19 closed in, sword raised, coldly declaring the game over. The blade struck brutally, hitting Wu Lu. His body reeled, blood gushing, unable to resist. Wu Lu lay curled, trembling, eyes struggling to stay alert. Exhausted, he collapsed as number 19 gloated over victory. Number 19 approached, dragging Wu Lu like refuse, tossing him before the gate. Wu Lu lay motionless, unable to fight, mocked with venomous words. Number 19 grinned twistedly, issuing a challenge as if toying with Wu Lu's life. Wu Lu's mind reeled, driven by one thought: survive. Suddenly, his little sister's image appeared, calling his name in a childish voice. A brutal kick to his chest shattered his breath with pain. Number 19 laughed maniacally, mocking mercilessly, forcing him toward the gate. Despite grave injuries, Wu Lu staggered toward the exit, desperate to live. At the peak of tension, A child's voice begged to pass through. Number 19 turned, facing a girl with icy eyes. He sneered insultingly, but she calmly demanded he clear the way. Her words made him laugh, setting an absurd condition: kill him to pass. The girl sighed heavily, silent, her gaze cut like a blade, delivering a cold rebuke. Before number 19 finished, a swift sword slash severed his head. It rolled to the ground, lifeless. Wu Lu watched, speechless, in disbelief. The girl sat, her voice soft yet chillingly innocent, asking if she should kill him too. She looked up, confirming if that would let her leave. Wu Lu struggled to rise, assuring he wouldn't stop her. Xiao Xiao stared, suspicious of something. She frowned, scolding Wu Lu's actions, making him hesitate. Wu Lu thanked her sincerely. Xiao Xiao denied saving him, prompting him to ask her name. Smiling brightly, she introduced herself as Xiao Xiao, playfully demanding meat. Wu Lu sighed helplessly, agreeing but saying he needed to go home first. She corrected firmly, insisting on eating meat, not dinner. Later at a restaurant, Xiao Xiao gleefully devoured steak. She ate everything served, leaving nothing behind. Wu Lu, exasperated, ordered more, but the restaurant ran out of steak. He demanded 50 portions of any meat. A table of hot meat dishes arrived swiftly. Xiao Xiao's eyes lit up, eating as if starved forever. Suddenly, Wu Lu coughed violently, blood spilling from his mouth. Xiao Xiao stopped, worriedly asking about his critical state. He remained silent. Her gaze reminded him of Xiao Qi, tightening his heart. He gently handed her a napkin, assuring enough food. Someone interrupted. A stranger appeared, smiling familiarly at Xiao Xiao, saying it had been a while. Eyeing the meat-filled table, he half-joked it was worth being tricked. Wu Lu asked his identity. He introduced himself as Ouyang Shi from Gongge Organization. Wu Lu frowned, recognizing Gongge's unique reputation, inviting him to eat if hungry. Ouyang Shi eagerly accepted. Unreserved, he sat, ready to join the meat feast. Xiao Xiao innocently asked if he wanted to eat her meat, saying the kind man would buy more if needed. Facing the awkward moment, Wu Lu smiled wryly, agreeing to let them eat. Wu Lu ordered more, relieved he could afford it. Xiao Xiao and Ouyang Shi devoured the enticing food without hesitation. Both stuffed, they groaned, thrilled at such a rare feast. Ouyang Shi asked Wu Lu's name, surprised it was him, thinking Gongge members ate heartily. Recognizing the name, Ouyang Shi smiled, mentioning Zhao Guang's fame. Wu Lu, surprised, asked about Xiao Qi, confirmed as renowned. As he pondered, Ouyang Shi noticed Xiao Xiao dozing, saying it was time to leave. He invited Wu Lu for his kindness, but Wu Lu gently declined to return home. Ouyang Shi chuckled, advising against excessive wariness, lest he become a loner. He clarified they respected his privacy. Joining was his choice. The group left the restaurant, heading to a mysterious, abandoned building. Ouyang Shi carried Xiao Xiao, welcoming Wu Lu to Gongge's base. Inside, a girl lying down smelled food. Eyes gleaming with excitement, she sprang up, shouting joyfully at the meat. Ouyang Shi, used to it, tossed her a bag full of meat. She caught it easily, grinning like she won a prize. Ouyang Shi asked. Xia Shui said only she was home. Others out searching for Xiao Xiao. Seeing the food, Xia Shui's eyes shone, curiosity uncontained. She eyed Wu Lu, questioning. Ouyang Shi introduced him as the food-bringing benefactor. Xia Shui looked closer, sensing familiarity. Ouyang Shi guessed she met Wu Lu's sister. Suddenly, she lunged at Wu Lu, startling him with her speed. Touching his face, Xia Shui denied meeting him. Ouyang Shi clarified she only met his sister. Cryptically, he revealed Wu Lu's sister cost Xia Shui an important role. Xia Shui stared, realizing he was that famous girl's brother. Wu Lu sternly asked what she knew. Xia Shui casually said he was already famous. Wu Lu gritted his teeth, saying his fame was all mockery. She shocked him, calling him Zhao Guang's chest scale. She explained Zhao Guang's tolerance was mistaken for weakness. Someone insulted Wu Lu to shame her. Zhao Guang killed them instantly. Ouyang Shi added Zhao Guang said nothing, but her actions showed Wu Lu's importance. The words choked Wu Lu, Xiaoqi's name echoing in his heart. Xia Shui sensed his mood, softly scolding Ouyang Shi for stressing him. Ouyang Shi shrugged, saying he only wanted Wu Lu to know Xiaoqi's ties, as he was too guarded. Xia Shui compared Wu Lu to Zhao Guang's gentle description, denying any resemblance. Ouyang Shi said he thought Zhao Guang exaggerated her brother. Wu Lu was a defensive hedgehog. Wu Lu snapped, refusing others' definitions of himself. Xia Shui, unfazed, advised hardness wouldn't reach his goals if filled with hate. Wu Lu fell silent, eyes deep with thought. Moments later, he turned, thanked them, and left. Ignoring Xia Shui's question about his wounds, he coldly departed, rejecting help, vowing to handle everything himself. Ouyang Shi teased Xia Shui for being harsh. She retorted, asking why he provoked others. He shrugged, saying he aimed to open Wu Lu up. Xia Shui picked up a cloth bag, saying she wasn't thoughtless, just unbothered. The young man sat quietly on a nearby chair. Looking at Ouyang Shi, he showed reproach, implying life had been tough. Ouyang Shi softened, planning to drive less, but Xia Shui opposed, worried for his mental state. Ouyang Shi shifted, saying he initially thought the youth exploited Xiao Xiao, but learned he was Zhao Guang's kin with good intent. Touching Xiao Xiao, he said she was a top candidate for Zhao Guang's role, noting Xia Shui still admired her despite events. Xia Shui pondered. Her face conflicted. Suddenly angry, she spoke. Ouyang Shi smiled, hoping the youth understood her heart. The young man walked alone on a quiet road. Passing a bakery, children's gazes stirred his heart. They evoked memories of his sister and old days. Back then, his sister gazed at a bakery with fiery determination. She promised to strive for a better life for them. He smiled, trusting she'd succeed and make him happy. Recalling Xia Shui's words, he sighed wearily. Heavy steps led him to a quiet park corner. Sitting, he reflected on his investigation and training since Xiaoqi's tragedy. In just months in this trade, he'd seen countless betrayals and lies, yet some lived selflessly, without ulterior motives. Gazing at the starry sky, Wu Lu sighed. His eyes revealed hesitation. Xiaoqi's image appeared, chiding his pessimism. He chuckled, conversing with memory. She silently rebuked his negativity. Her words stunned him, realizing his lack of faith in humanity. Wu Lu looked down, voice heavy, admitting experiences eroded his trust. She understood better. She insisted firmly, no matter the circumstances, people aren't wholly evil, urging him to believe. With determined eyes, she said the world's diversity came from varied souls, and brave hearts inspired her to change it all. She vowed not to give up, striving to spread positivity, hoping he'd trust humanity too. Her words stirred him. He nodded decisively, agreeing. Spirit lifted. He slapped his cheeks, admitting he hated suspicion but kept doubting others. Looking at Xiaoqi's photo, he thought continued distrust would make him his own worst enemy. Resolve surged, thinking of her dream to change the world. He stood, eyes blazing, whispering her name, confessing loneliness in her absence. Striding through the park, he embraced the future, recalling her wish amid a scheming world. His gaze hardened, vowing to restore faith in humanity, as she hoped. Next day, they reached a desolate slum, life nearly extinguished. On the sidewalk, weary people sat, eyes lifeless. Jing'an looked around, silently noting the scene. Wu Lu spoke, teasing Jing'an's shock. He stammered, mistaking it for a friend's home. Jing'an apologized. Wu Lu laughed, saying it wasn't his fault. Suddenly, a child crashed into Wu Lu. He steadied them, gently warning to run slower to avoid falling. The child looked up, praising his looks, eagerly asking about the outside world. The innocent questions moved Jing An, touched by the child's purity. The boy grinned, asking if he'd grow beautiful and explore freely. Wu Lu patted his head, promising a bright future. A mother's anxious call echoed. The boy turned, smiling warmly, urging Wu Lu not to keep his mom waiting. Running and waving, the child cheerfully bid farewell. Wu Lu walked ahead, sensing Jing An's turmoil, reassuring him it wasn't his fault. They moved through the bustling street crowd. They stopped before an old, weathered gate. Jing An asked curiously, Wu Lu, stern, pointed inside. Jing An froze at the sight within. Tattered people looked like wandering ghosts. Their eyes held no life, only hollow emptiness. Jing An, shocked, muttered disbelief at their confinement. Wu Lu told him to stay back. Before Jing An understood, an old man lunged, eyes feral, stunning him. The crowd screamed, ravenous, like mindless beasts. Wu Lu coldly mocked who truly managed this place. He named groups like the Investigators Guild and 7 Stars, saying none could control it. He hurried Jing An away, leaving behind wretched screams. They found a quiet bench to regain composure. Jing An, shaken, asked why brought here. Wu Lu countered, asking his feelings. Jing An, lost, showed self-doubt in his gaze. He admitted ignorance of this place until leaving home, seeing it firsthand. Hesitating, he asked if he was too naive. Wu Lu calmly said Xiaoqi was born here, once not so bleak. He stressed naivety wasn't shameful. Even he, knowing reality, once ignored its cruelty. Wu Lu's eyes grew pensive, explaining the world split into 4 class-based regions. Shocking Jing An. Jing An asked the last region's name. Wu Lu stood, saying it had none. But people called it the graveyard, for souls with no escape. Jing An asked why they were confined. Wu Lu told him to ask his brother, leaving a probing question before departing. Wu Lu strode on, eyes thoughtful on the dark road. 3 days later, a lavish mansion gleamed. Li Chengfeng entered, face stern and cold. Lights flared in the room. They illuminated a weary teen on the floor, defeated. Li Chengfeng eyed his brother, asking angrily. Jing An looked up, reproaching him for a 3-day wait. The words briefly halted Li Chengfeng. A nearby cabinet suddenly opened. Turning away, Li Chengfeng asked curtly. Jing An demanded why people were caged in the graveyard, recounting the horrific scene. His brother paused, then spoke calmly. He called them criminals. Jing An repeated, doubtful. Li Chengfeng explained. Post-chaos, they exploited the turmoil for gain, heedless of consequences. He approached closer. With a chilling gaze, he stressed their heinous crimes killed thousands, ignored due to apathy or inability. Jing An stood stunned, mind flooded with questions and doubt. Li Chengfeng said the poor among them hated them most, shocking Jing An. 27 years ago, caged people screamed for release, claiming innocence. Outside, enraged crowds demanded execution, decrying the government's inaction. They shouted the captives deserved death, questioning their survival. A naive child asked her mother why they were imprisoned. The mother, furious, called them beasts in human skin. She recounted how, decades ago, when void spaces appeared, they turned bloodthirsty. They used force to rob and harm civilians, mercilessly. A desperate victim begged for life in agony. The attackers only sneered, responding with absolute cruelty. Amid the chaos, a young girl fled a nightmare. Seeing loved ones fall, she trembled, praying to survive. In a D-rank void space, chaos reigned, monsters rampaging. Wu Lu stood amid horror, coldly facing reality. He realized this void space stemmed from real history. Here, only intelligent beings were simulated. The rest mirrored past events. Wu Lu pressed forward, undaunted. Like an archaeologist in a war zone, he studied disaster's traces. Suddenly, Dehumanized people charged, wielding weapons aggressively. With superb reflexes, Wu Lu dodged effortlessly. 3 massive, terrifying monsters appeared, radiating killing intent. Wu Lu moved like an uncatchable breeze amid their attacks. In an instant, he unleashed a strike. The blow obliterated a monster's massive body. Wu Lu landed, poised to fight. His eyes fixed on a distant girl, wondering if she was the Void's leader. Looking at a corpse below, he was shocked by a familiar face consumed by the boss. He realized this Void could preserve memories and events. These memories looped until fully resolved. Many failed here. The girl turned, face ghastly, eyes like black holes, blood streaking her face. Her broken voice, icy, demanded, "Who are you? Get out!" Wu Lu froze before the malice in her small form. The girl charged, weapons swinging in fury, brimming with killing intent. Wu Lu drew his sword, deftly countering as if anticipating her move. His face stayed calm, radiating unyielding resolve. He countered with a precise sword strike. Despite her uncanny reflexes, she dodged fully, eyes blazing with determination. Gripping her weapon, she unleashed a vicious attack, screaming to destroy all. Wu Lu sidestepped her blade with practiced calm. Seizing the moment, he grabbed her small legs, ready to strike back. A decisive blow sent her crashing down. The tiny girl struggled up, screaming in rage and conflict. Knife in hand, she charged with hateful, murderous eyes. The battle was evenly matched, neither yielding. Wu Lu realized his teammates behind were a burden. She kicked powerfully, shattering obstacles in her path. Turning, she grinned wickedly, eyes cold as ice. Wu Lu dodged her lightning-fast attack instinctively. He swiftly drew a sharp dagger from his coat. Unfazed, his gaze locked forward. He swung, the dagger flying with intense pressure and speed. Before she could turn, Wu Lu appeared behind her. A precise slash caught her off guard. Her frail body slammed to the ground. Blood seeped from her chest, pain making her tremble. But a mysterious poison spread from the wound, horrifying Wu Lu. Unclear if intentional or not. This boss used deadly venom. Wu Lu's voice hardened, eyes cold, deciding to act swiftly. Suddenly, Xiao Qi's tearful face appeared, weakly questioning him. Wu Lu froze, heart shaken by the familiar image. His sword, near her throat, halted. Xiao Qi sobbed, pleading, her words filled with despair and blame. Despite her words, a twisted smile flickered on her face. Coldly, Wu Lu brought down his sword, eyes emotionless. Her head fell, eyes wide with lingering hatred. Wu Lu whispered, voice low, condemning her crimes. Clutching his head, he sighed, reminding himself to carry antidotes. Touching her body, he sensed sudden unease. A sound pinged, notifying an unopened letter and a cryptic invitation. Wu Lu frowned, disbelieving what he heard. Seeing the still corpse, he decided to leave first. His foot caught on a small obstacle, halting his steps. Losing balance, Wu Lu fell, eyes flashing confusion. His hand brushed a stranger, triggering a new alert about a mysterious book. Stunned, he muttered doubts about this skill's existence. Mind reeling, he wondered if bosses vied for power. The warped atmosphere made everything feel unreal. Staggering up, he urged himself to escape now. Behind, unnoticed alerts flickered endlessly. A cold warning appeared. Someone is watching you? At the lavish Li family mansion. Jing An clutched his phone, urgently begging someone to return soon. Pushing the door, his eyes lit up seeing the room's occupant awake. He cheered, thrilled his big brother was finally conscious. Wu Lu rubbed his head, dazed as if waking from a dream. Scanning around, he asked where he was. Jing An smiled warmly. Jing An recounted finding Wu Lu unconscious, getting him treated, and bringing him home. Wu Lu thanked softly. Jing An hoped he wasn't blamed for deciding alone. Jing An worriedly asked why Wu Lu was so badly poisoned. Wu Lu stayed silent, eyes distant. Jing-an clarified he meant no intrusion. Shifting topics, Jing-an asked about the guild Wu Lu mentioned, surprising him with quiet help. Wu Lu sternly asked about the reason for the help, linking it to Li Chengfeng's existence. Those words stunned Jing-an, his eyes revealing clear panic. His grip tightened, voice low as he admitted to much contemplation. He confessed his desire to escape his brother's shadow, unwilling to remain dependent forever. Emotions surged as he recounted once considering abandoning all efforts, accepting fate. But meeting Wu Lu, he was inspired by his unyielding resolve and strength. He wondered if being near such a person could make him better. Pausing, he awkwardly asked Wu Lu if he was foolish, receiving a blunt reply. Seeing Jing-an near tears, Wu Lu softened, praising his precious sincerity. So, never underestimate yourself again. Jing-an, moved, eyes sparkling, called Wu Lu's name. Wu Lu smiled faintly, saying the alliance's future rested with Jing-an. He cheered learning the guild's name, Seven Moon Alliance, as Wu Lu mentioned the recent Silent Realm trip. The remark shocked Jing-an, who anxiously asked if Wu Lu went alone. Wu Lu nodded. The youth beamed, praising his incredible skill. Jing-an tilted his head, eyes curious, asking about Wu Lu's current level. Before an answer, a ringing phone interrupted them. Jing-an hurried out to answer, urging Wu Lu to rest. Wu Lu nodded calmly, saying to call or text if needed. Jing-an smiled, agreed, and fetched medicine for him before leaving. Afterward, Wu Lu returned to his small apartment. Before him, a wall covered with photos of his sister filled with memories. His gaze held deep emotion, whispering to Xiaoqi to be patient a bit longer. Items from the Silent Realm were neatly arranged on the table. He wondered if, upon leaving the Silent Realm, only the item's quality remained. Holding a letter with suspicion, he opened the envelope gently, as if fearing to smudge the ink. Inside was a delicate handwritten letter, blending daily musings with a nameless girl's loneliness and hope. Sent to a distant friend. Holding it, Wu Lu was shaken, realizing it might have been written just before the Silent Realm formed. He pondered deeply, suspecting those genuine emotions shaped the boss's vivid, fierce nature. Next, he held the item, Tears of Resentment, its effect making all monsters view the user as an enemy. Wu Lu sighed, murmuring about its pure yet suffocating hatred. Though risky, he thought if used timely, it could turn the tide. However, the final item left Wu Lu stunned with surprise. A special invitation, capable of forcing any entity in the Silent Realm to appear beside the user. Wu Lu muttered, eyes gleaming with astonishment, discovering an item that could break the Silent Realm's rules. He set the letter down, thinking this item was not just salvation but a key to continue the conquest, its value surpassing mere escape. His movements paused, as if a memory suddenly resurfaced. His eyes widened, realizing something crucial. No limit on summoning targets. Looking back at the photo wall, his gaze mixed doubt and longing. Could it summon the departed? A spark of hope flared. Could it bring Xiaoqi back? He smiled faintly, excitement surging, as if grasping a fragile chance. He leapt from his chair, fervor burning like someone rediscovering hope. But a sudden collision with the table left him dazed. Sharp pain spread through him, tempering his excitement. Wu Lu froze, stunned. He sighed inwardly that even if he summoned a spirit, he couldn't see it. Exhausted, he slumped into a chair, resolved to continue the Silent Realm journey to find an item enabling sight of the departed. He recalled it appeared at an auction. That item's starting bid was at least tens of millions. Using Xiaoqi's assets, he could afford it, but hesitated to sell. Holding a skill book, he leaned back, sighing wearily. The item was valuable but could cause trouble if revealed. Gazing at the book, he sank into tangled thoughts. His hand touched the book's cover. A strange energy slowly seeped into his body. A notification appeared before him, activating an unknown ability. The next morning, a man appeared before Wu Lu, skeptical about what he heard from a prior call. Wu Lu calmly confirmed, making Qinzi sigh, noting his great change but worrying about solo conquests. Wu Lu smiled confidently, assuring he wouldn't gamble his life. Qinzi shook his head helplessly. Suddenly, Qinzi frowned, sensing something amiss. He suspected Wu Lu's request for a support team served a larger plan. Wu Lu admitted wanting to study the Silent Realm deeper. Qinzi doubted the simple explanation, believing Wu Lu hid his true purpose. Wu Lu laughed, openly admitting concealment. His real goal was infiltrating to learn the Silent Realm's environment. Wu Lu's honesty and smile left Qinzi unable to doubt further. Qinzi smiled, pointing to a gate behind. It was a D-rank Silent Realm he secured for Wu Lu. Qinzi chuckled, saying he was just lucky, advising Wu Lu to join a major guild for stable Silent Realm resources. Wu Lu smiled confidently, saying it was enough for now. Qinzi asked about teammates, and he replied they'd arrive later. Checking his watch, Qinzi left, skeptical, due to unresolved work. Before going, he mentioned Xiaoqi, noting she hadn't visited home lately. Wu Lu smiled faintly, saying she's been busy and unsure when she'd return. Qinzi told him to bring Xiaoqi for dinner when she's back, waving goodbye. Wu Lu replied sincerely. Wu Lu's smile faded, replaced by fatigue and worry. He gazed ahead silently, vowing inwardly to find Xiaoqi by any means. Stepping through the Silent Realm gate, his heart held only resolve to recover a piece of his sister's soul. Inside, monsters awaited. The scene before him, utterly chaotic. Buildings burned in flames, mingled with black smoke and fierce roars. Wu Lu was briefly shocked by the abnormal scene, unlike a typical D rank. His step accidentally crushed an object, making a small sound. The noise instantly drew nearby monsters' attention. They roared, charging with weapons. Wu Lu reacted swiftly, leaping to dodge attacks nimbly. He kicked an enemy hard, sending it flying. Yet, the monster's numbers made him hesitate. His sword glowed, each slash tearing through space. Suddenly, a monster attacked from behind with unexpected speed. Wu Lu let out a small cry as pain spread through him. He rolled to dodge the next blow, eyes alert. The monsters grew fiercer, attacking relentlessly. Wu Lu gritted his teeth, visibly troubled by the situation, but he didn't retreat. Unleashing a whirlwind-like slash, he grabbed a defeated monster's head. With force, he hurled it far like an arrow. Though fearless, the monsters roared savagely. Faces grotesque, yet their attacks couldn't touch him. Wu Lu dodged with fluid movements and high speed. He countered with sharp sword strikes, terrifying enemies. Soon, the entire monster group lay defeated at his feet. Wu Lu panted, doubting this was merely a D-rank Silent Realm. He cautiously scanned all directions, eyes serious. Sitting down, he began collecting items from monster corpses. A notification showed the amount of bones and beast meat obtained. Surprisingly, he found rare items like beast armor and a white jade fragment, drawing his attention. A roar from behind sounded as ferocious creatures charged with sharp claws. Yet Wu Lu swiftly countered, defeating them without turning. He noted while thinking these were rare materials, only obtainable in small amounts. He meant each Silent Realm trip limited the items collected. Only a portion of resources could be taken per exploration. Wu Lu pressed on, pondering why no Silent Realm allowed multiple returns. If his theory was correct, what caused this change? Before him lay a smoky, ruined expanse. Wu Lu advanced, his gaze sweeping the scene, as if weighing something. Suddenly, he stopped, eyes stunned, realizing the Silent Realm's rules had changed. Before him, a small beast was surrounded by threatening giant creatures. The trapped creature had pure white fur with orange streaks, poised to react. The monster's killing intent thickened the air. Wu Lu thought all Silent Realm knowledge came at a bloody cost. If rules changed unknowingly, this was the tragic result. The beast was fiercely attacked. 3 large monsters closed in, faces twisted with menace. Despite wounds, the fox stood, its unyielding gaze making Wu Lu question if this was the Silent Realm's true nature. A monster grinned wickedly, raising claws at the small creature. The fox fled in panic, eyes filled with fear. Wu Lu frowned, pondering rule changes, when the fox rushed to him, clasping hands for help, making him realize it sought aid. The monsters closed in, their aura ferocious. The fox trembled, clinging to Wu Lu's leg, tears streaming. Wu Lu, annoyed, told the creature to let go. The fox's hopeful, glistening eyes softened his heart. A past memory flashed in his mind. Wu Lu sighed softly, his gaze hesitant. Suddenly, the monster's pained shrieks echoed. In an instant, the three fierce monsters were defeated, lying still. Wu Lu reached out, grabbing the small fox. Coldly tossing it behind, he said he wouldn't kill it, but told it to leave. Moving forward, he was surprised the fox didn't flee, but quietly followed. Later, Wu Lu stopped before a strange area ringed by flickering flames. At its center, odd patterns were carved into the ground. A shadow turned from the smoke, red eyes and sharp teeth, menacing. Wu Lu was slightly startled by the unexpected situation. Without hesitation, he charged, sword flashing. The fox followed in panic. Battle erupted instantly. No words needed. The skeleton struck directly, forcing Wu Lu to parry with his sword. The monster's hand was knocked far away. The fight grew fiercer as both exchanged blows. One side relentlessly attacked, the other steadfastly defended. Wu Lu prepared a decisive kick, but the monster smiled eerily. Its eyes flashed malice, claws poised to strike. Wu Lu froze in surprise. With quick reflexes, he thrust his sword into the ground, then leapt back to dodge the deadly blow. Landing, Wu Lu analyzed the enemy's weapon traits, but the creature fought with its body and hidden weapons. Wu Lu held a defensive stance, eyes highly alert. He charged suddenly, targeting an old wound. One hand gripped the foe's bony arm tightly, gritting his teeth against pain, then unleashing a powerful strike. The monster lost balance, collapsing. Wu Lu raised his sword. He swung decisively at its weak point, but shockingly, his eyes widened, exclaiming in disbelief. Unbelievably, the monster's neck was its hardest part, blocking the sword completely. Suddenly, sharp bone spikes shot from its body toward Wu Lu. The monster's form warped, sprouting jagged bones, exuding strange black mist. The system announced the Skeleton King boss had entered Phase 2. The boss's body restructured, purple-tinged black mist enveloped its sturdy bones, making it deadlier. Xiao Qi swung her legs, telling Wu Lu the Silent Realm resembled an online game dungeon. She smiled, explaining game bosses have 3 phases, growing stronger. Wu Lu pondered her words, wondering how Silent Realm bosses differed. Xiao Qi sadly said Silent Realm monsters unleash full power from the start. If, like games, human losses would be far less. Suddenly, a 2-horned monster charged, radiating terrifying killing intent. Wu Lu instantly focused, ready to fight. He rushed forward, swinging his sword, but the monster dodged nimbly. It slithered low, its eyes suddenly widening in surprise. Wu Lu wiped blood, noting the boss moved slower post-phase shift with clearer weak points. A rare chance. Battle reignited. The monster slashed, but Wu Lu dodged. He leapt to strike its head, but was ambushed by bone spikes like arrows. Wu Lu blocked with his hand, but his shoulder was pierced, blood gushing. Clutching the wound, he knelt, cursing himself for exposing a flaw and being baited. The monster pressed forward, but Wu Lu rolled behind it. He stabbed its nape with his sword. Bones shattered, and he smiled, satisfied. Yet the monster didn't flinch, countering with a lethal thrust, sending him flying. His body trembled, shocked that bones could move so fluidly, an unseen change. Pale and sweating, he felt his ribs badly injured, victory slipping away. The monster roared, charging with ferocious momentum. Luckily, Wu Lu dodged, muttering about a final move he hesitated to use. Unwilling to lose, he shouted, determined to reclaim Xiaoqi's sword. The fight erupted again, swords clashing fiercely. Wu Lu was knocked back, his sword falling, body hitting the ground. The monster loomed, ready to end the battle. It stomped hard, breaking his thigh. Wu Lu groaned in pain. The monster laughed savagely, its sound chilling. Sharp bone shards shot from its back like bullets toward Wu Lu. At that moment, the fox appeared unexpectedly. It lunged, biting the foe's neck. The monster swung to grab it but was countered, its own bones piercing itself. Wu Lu stood, seizing the chance to snatch the sword from the monster's hand. He darted behind, raising his sword to finish it. A precise strike severed its neck. The monster collapsed, but Wu Lu, exhausted, gasped for breath. Looking at the fox, he whispered, asking if it returned to repay his save. A virtual interface appeared, reporting 2 white jade bone pieces received. Warning: you will die from blood loss in 30 minutes. Blood spurted from his mouth. He covered it, but couldn't stop the flow. Fire blazed ahead. He sighed, unsure what dangers awaited. His hand glowed faintly. Coughing, he wished he could save his state to rest. The fox lay flat, making soft sounds. Hearing it, Wu Lu turned, sat, and thanked it for aiding him in crisis. The fox raised its head, cooing softly. He reached to pet it, but stopped. Guilt surged for his helplessness. He apologized, unable to heal it, saying it must survive alone. Suddenly, the fox grabbed his hand with its front paws, making sounds as if responding. Xiaoqi's words echoed. In A-rank silent realms and above, many creatures understand human speech. What rank was this realm? The fox stood on 2 legs, pointing at the bones, making continuous sounds, prompting Wu Lu to observe closely. It bit a bone piece, healing rapidly as if uninjured. A glowing bone appeared in Wu Lu's hand, white jade bone. He realized eating it would fully heal the fox. It nodded in response. Shockingly, it could see his skill information. A red panel appeared. He pointed, asking if the fox saw it. The blood loss warning was clear. The fox panicked, crying out repeatedly. A clear confirmation. As fire spread, it ran but tripped, crying in distress. It looked back, signaling him to follow. Wu Lu understood. Outside, chaos intensified. Wu Lu curiously asked the fox why it led him here. Before a deep pit, the fox stopped. Inside was a glowing green gem. It grabbed the gem and returned to Wu Lu. Wu Lu examined it, noticing a strange symbol within. The fox jumped onto him, crying urgently. Wu Lu held the gem, gently telling it to calm down. A notification appeared. Fire City state saved, return possible after nearly 7 days, shocking him. He looked at the fox, asking how it had a save point item. It only smiled faintly. He smiled, thanking the creature for helping him escape death. Preparing to leave, he hoped to meet again. A green panel confirmed Silent Realm exit. Unwilling to part, the fox clung to him, tears welling, wailing pitifully. It pointed at the panel, eyes hopeful. When asked, it eagerly confirmed wanting to come along. Wu Lu's gaze grew serious. He set it down, explaining Silent Realm monsters couldn't leave, but it refused to let go. Clinging despite his warnings, its teary eyes made him warn clearly that leaving meant death. Still, it held fast, gripping him tightly. Its stubborn cuteness reminded Wu Lu of Xiaoqi's pouts for ice cream. Finally, he relented, allowing it to follow, warning of consequences. It yipped joyfully, forgetting it walked on 4 legs. The fox leapt onto his shoulder. Wu Lu confirmed yes on the panel. A pink glow enveloped them, activating the Great Escape skill. A note appeared. This skill allows instant escape to any desired location. Next use requires nearly a year. Back in the real world, Wu Lu collapsed onto his bed, exhausted. Without opening his eyes, he fumbled for his phone, calling Li Jing'an for a doctor urgently. The fox sat beside, cooing with concern. Wu Lu glanced over, smiling weakly, surprised it still lived. Seeing him fade, the fox cried out anxiously. The phone slipped from his hand. The fox climbed onto him, frantic. Wu Lu opened his eyes, weakly calling the creature. He told it to hide. Li Jing-an arrived, relieved to see him conscious. He asked repeatedly about Wu Lu's health, unaware of the fox beside him. Wu Lu said he was hungry. Li Jing-an laughed, noting he'd slept all day. He said porridge was prepared, just needing reheating. Turning gently to the fox, it yipped happily. Li Jing-an nodded, satisfied, then asked Wu Lu about future plans. The fox eagerly chimed in. Wu Lu smiled tiredly, saying the little one wanted to follow him, unsure why. After thinking, he named it a companion. Xiaoqi would surely like it. He chose Xiaoqi for saving him twice. The fox happily agreed. Li Jing-an, surprised, asked who he spoke to. Wu Lu shook his head, whispered thanks for the help. Li Jing-an laughed, waving off formalities. The fox's sudden noise startled Li Jing-an, who asked what it was. He turned serious, saying a doctor confirmed Wu Lu's severe blood loss. Wu Lu needed full rest. Asked why he went alone, he shrugged, saying he's used to it. Li Jing-an shook his head, saying thanks to Wu Lu's supplies, Seven Moon Alliance thrived. But someone was secretly investigating. Wu Lu found it odd since the materials were common. Li Jing-an explained large quantities drew attention. After pondering, he wanted to recruit more people. Unemployment was high, and Silent Realm jobs sustained lives. He aimed to offer opportunities. Wu Lu agreed. Li Jing-an planned to open shops to spread fame and create jobs. He planned 4 shops with 8 staff and began preparing an alliance headquarters. Wu Lu was surprised. Li Jing-an confirmed needing a base and had a site pending inspection. With ambition, he aimed to expand business, to reduce reliance on materials and Wu Lu. Not criticizing, he worried Wu Lu overworked. Wu Lu agreed to lessen the burden. Wu Lu fully supported, encouraging Li Jing-an to follow his vision. Li Jing-an was thrilled but needed guidance, lacking business experience. Wu Lu had none either. He suggested material trade, information services, and finalizing initial plans. Wu Lu opposed intelligence due to lacking connections, dominated by Datong. Li Jing-an agreed, avoiding family reliance. Wu Lu stressed building independence. He shifted topics, deeming material sales unfeasible. Datong long dominated this field with vast networks and high credibility. Wu Lu confirmed their rivals' strength. Li Jing-an was lost, seeking a new path. Li Jing-an was surprised at the low regard for job placement. Wu Lu explained weak connections. Wu Lu suggested the Investigators Association could help bridge networking gaps. Li Jing-an was shocked. Wu Lu said unemployment's social impact forced the association's attention, but Li Jing-an doubted since they never acted, and Wu Lu noted no one dared bear losses. Wu Lu explained pre-Silent Realm job markets thrived, now diminished. Silent Realm resources advanced science, but didn't replace investigators' strength, leaving many jobless. Li Jing-an agreed. Unemployment rose post-Silent Realm spread. Wu Lu said low profits and high risks deterred involvement. Li Jing-an argued commissions were possible. Wu Lu countered direct hiring needed no brokers. He conceded street job postings drew applicants without intermediaries. He sighed, questioning if profitless ventures were worthwhile. Li Jing-an, resolute, said post-graveyard. He realized helping others find hope through jobs was his calling. Grasping Wu Lu's hand, he admitted being dreamy and slightly crazy. Wu Lu gently interrupted, admiring his ideals, saying Li Jing-an's heart surpassed his own. Li Jing-an, elated, saw it as Wu Lu's recognition. Wu Lu wondered why it mattered. Li Jing-an, joyful, asked to record the praise, his first ever received. Wu Lu refused but spoke warmly, urging rest after long caregiving. Li Jing-an felt fine. He suddenly recalled an urgent matter, about to share critical unreported news. With a grave face, He said, 7-star base was attacked. Wu Lu, stunned, asked when. Li Jing'an confirmed 2 afternoons ago. 3 black-clad men attacked, bombing rooms. His presence prevented total destruction. Wu Lu frowned, puzzled. Li Jing'an didn't know details but heard the men tied to a group that fought Wu Lu's brother. Wu Lu, angry, mentioned the Saints, noting they targeted not just 7-star but other bases. Motives unclear. Li Jing'an sadly said enemies were repelled, but Fischl was gravely injured. Despite orders, no 7 stars returned to aid. Wu Lu, stern, asked what his brother saw. Li Jing'an said no attack news was public or internal. He confirmed all data was erased, stressing 7 stars' role as public support. Its loss would shock deeply. Wu Lu, furious, denied they were former allies, saying they boldly vowed to crush 7-star. Turning to Li Jing'an, he ordered a private intelligence team to gather all data on domestic and foreign forces, even seemingly useless info. Li Jing'an, hesitant, agreed to try. Wu Lu promised a secret source but warned against over-reliance. He added to devise a plausible explanation for his brother as defense systems were changing. The scene shifted indoors. A voice from the window drew attention. Wu Lu, surprised, asked her age. The girl outside smiled, saying she just turned 18. Wu Lu frowned, noting the scenic view. She teased falling would mean death. Wu Lu asked how she joked about death. She laughed, wanting to surprise him after a long absence. He teased her falling would be the real shock. She laughed loudly, teasing Wu Lu's build, touching his chest. He angrily warned he'd throw her down if she didn't stop. She feigned anger, recalling when Wu Lu called her sister Fei Fei fondly, blaming his change, calling him Big Daddy Nan. Wu Lu, cold, said she'd better climb down to regain sense. She quickly changed topics, urging to forget the banter for serious talk. She asked about meeting Chen Mo. Wu Lu confirmed he was busy, unable to come. With the Investigators Association in turmoil, Chen Mo, as chief secretary, had to handle it. She complained about worrying for her brother. Wu Lu doubted the issue's impact on headquarters. She squinted, hinting at a hidden reason. She wondered why Wu Lu brought them home, unlike before. Wu Lu bluntly said it was for skill books. She asked about trade terms. He calmly offered void-related intelligence as trade. She doubted its low value, saying even Wu Lu couldn't make her accept a loss. She laughed, revealing the intelligence tied to a recurring void strategy, asking if that sufficed. Wu Lu tilted his head, questioning its authenticity. She seriously confirmed its truth and value, unprecedented, but still insufficient for trade. Wu Lu nodded, offering access to void entry methods to boost trade value. She frowned, demanding specific details before agreeing. Wu Lu asked Xiaoxi about leading people into the void. Xiaoxi yipped confirmation, and he nodded, pleased. Xiaoxi chirped, "Chi-chi," happily. Wu Lu explained the area had 2 layers, holding up to 8 people for multiple entries, offering 7 slots. She asked, surprised, how many books he wanted. He said 1 per person. She laughed mockingly, saying his demand felt like robbery, not trade. Wu Lu argued multiple entries and high profits made it worthwhile, even without skill books. If she refused, others would compete.